Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hi.
James Farley.
Hello.
And the main one, Matt Murray.
Hello.
Our Patreon producers this month are Aaron Patrick, Anthony Oakenson, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, and Richard Sawyer. They went full Nelson. You can do too. If you go to patreon.com/TCGS, you can support us via Patreon. And seriously, we really do mean it. Thank you so much for your help during this past month. And especially to our Patreon producers this month, the full Nels crew. Thank you very much. Should we get straight into feedback, Matt?
Yeah, I've been kind of dreading this, but let's...
Why?
Well, because there's also going to be loads of shit about the rebrand, isn't there? But we'll start.
I want to give you a pep talk, but it's not fun, is it? it's good. Let's hear what they say.
What's the pep talk?
No, don't, because now your ego's going to go through the roof. You did a good job.
Well, no, pep talk suggests negative, not good. Are such things as good pep talks?
Wait, what? All pep talks are good. That's what
all
pep talk is.
All pep talks are good. What are you talking about?
Gives you some pep in your step. That's the whole point.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Have you been in meetings and just thinking, I got absolutely slaughtered there? Right? Everyone around you going, no, you were like praised a lot. What's going on here?
No, pep talk. I hear that and I think, this isn't going to be good, is it? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I'm going to give you such a pep talk now. You are shit.
I was going to say, it's been like an authority figure in your life, Matt, who's just believed in really tough love.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. I wonder who. Right, let's go.
Athene Allen. Spending 15 minutes on the rebrand at the start of the show suggests maybe it hasn't gone as elegantly as you think, Matt. We've got. I'll just go through the bunch. John Denton. Can you call the show TCGS as well? Because no one has played a computer game since 1988.
I'm with him on that one. I think I prefer that. But go on.
I know so many people I saw say they should have just called it the video game show. It was taken. We addressed it at the time.
We did try.
Yeah,
we agree.
Computer games got more of like a, I think, British sensibility about it. I quite like it.
Yeah,
that's an excuse.
That's right.
I'll take it.
We all call them computer. I mean, I certainly call them computer games when I was younger.
That's what you call reverse engineering.
It is.
God.
Lee Morris, loving the brand update in theory. If the computer game show is being shortened to TCGS, no, that's not what's happening. Why is TCGS code being used across all social platforms? What does the code stand for? Crime organisation, company originals. It also made me think of the naming convention of your various projects. Surely the podcast should now be labelled as the main one, and the phrase "the computer game show" can be consigned to history. After starting my own podcast last month and having to create loads of various social networks and branding, I know this must have taken a shed load of work, so top props to Matt. Right, hang on. Okay, and this last bit... Oh, no, we'll come back to that in a second. Right, so, Lee, just to go through your email... The Computer Game Show is not being shortened to TCS. The Computer Game Show podcast is remaining the Computer Game Show. Same branding. People are saying why haven't you changed the logo? It's like, because that's the logo. I think I said on last week's show and since, the Computer Game Show, the podcast we're doing right now, it's not changing. So, I mean, we did change the theme, but whatever. Same artwork, same art stuff. Think of the TCGS thing we mentioned. That's like the company... Right, just like Facebook is a company, and it's got its various things like WhatsApp and Instagram.
Don't do that because Facebook is still Facebook. If Facebook, the company, renamed to FB,
if you open WhatsApp, it says a Facebook company. If you open Instagram, it says a Facebook company.
I'll tell you what isn't Facebook though, Sean.
Yeah,
us. Let's get away from that comparison.
Unless they're interested in buying. Then we very much
change it to Computer Game Show. It's cleaner.
I just thought the same joke there.
So TGS is a company, whatever we want to call it, and then like this podcast is staying the same. It's just one element of that. I think that's clarified it.
It really isn't that complicated. We just thought it was funny to drag it out a bit last week.
Yeah, that's the thing with Athene's tweet there. When she said, it takes 15 minutes to explain it. No, it doesn't. It takes really doesn't. 2 seconds to explain it. It takes 15 minutes of us to take the piss out of it. That's what it does.
Greg Shepherd, hi, TCGS presents a computer game show, part of the TCGS family. Is Matt slacking? Why did he forget to get at TCGSco on TikTok? I thought he was supposed to be on the ball with social media stuff.
That's a point.
That's a good point.
No, because which one of us is going to do TikToks?
I was going to say, I think we, a load of men in our 30s, have loads to contribute to the TikTok community.
Well, I don't think it's an age thing. I just have no desire
it's
to
mostly it's mostly a younger demographic, isn't it, TikTok?
I mean, yeah, but that's not to say you can't correct stuff on it if you want to. Like,
no, there's not like a hard stop. I just don't think we'd fit in.
But just like Vine, I watch them but not really make them. But
Matt turning up to like college discos, like, what? You can't stop me coming in. What's the problem? There's no law against it.
I have never understood like how that's for young people. Like, well, if you got something that's actually going to be good on there, then do it. I mean, if you start get limited by what you think people your age should be doing, you've got no chance, surely.
Well, why do you say it? I can't come to prom.
But I haven't said that yet. No, because none of us could do it. And it's pointless, isn't it? We changed the theme on last week's show. We were expecting a whole load of feedback on this. We got some, but it's actually all good. Dave Ledington said big fan of the new theme, guys. Orkmedes theme tune, bloody banger, good choice. Tom Clark, new theme, less shit than the last one, but still reassuringly shit.
Wow.
I thought you said it was all good.
Well, I
Where's that come from?
said mostly. And then there's some confusion that came from nowhere, basically. This is MS Rangers 999. Thought the music was Matt drumming. Wish it was now, and I don't like it. Sorry, guys. The pop was great as always.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So you thought it was bad, but if it was you drumming, he would have liked it.
I think basically there's a comment in the wrong place. It's like he wish it was, and now he doesn't like it because a couple of people thought, oh, it's Matt drumming, but no, obviously it's not. It's not me drumming.
Are you still doing it? Well, not obviously now, but were you still doing your lessons?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How's it going?
Tough because I switched from left-handed to right-handed. And so
is it like going when you try to go from inverted to non-inverted?
Yeah, but it's
hang on. So what are you left-handed or?
Yeah, I'm left-handed. Yeah.
But it just wasn't working out for the drumming.
No, it was, but it's just making it harder because the teachers were having to say to everyone else in the class, "Hey, do this," and also
apart
if I saw
you,
people,
fucking Southpaw over there.
I thought if I saw people in the class, I'm like, okay, if I was maybe struggling on a bit, I would look at them, but I'm like, in my head, I've got to then reverse what they do. I mean, I would sit on different sides of the kit, but also like the snare and stuff is on different sides, and it's just anyway. So I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll switch. But then it was tough because you've got leads with my weak hand.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And
I've got two teachers, one of which is left-handed, and they've always learned right-handed. The other one said, basically do what comes naturally. So both of them, they got both different opinions. I think it'd probably be better in the long run if I do it this way.
I don't know why, but I've got an image of you in the classroom doing a test and looking over to trying to copy the person next to you, but they're right-handed. So you think, right, I'll switch to right-handed, so I can copy easier. And then you look down at your test and it's just like scribbles and it's all over the place because you try to use a weak hand. I don't know why that image came into my head, but it did. Sorry.
So, but the answer to the question, yes, I was still doing it, but I haven't done it for ages now because, of Karuna. Leroy Leon Lemon on Twitter. My initial thinking, read the new theme, went 1, oh fuck, I clicked on the wrong pod. 2, oh wait, oh no. 3, I hate it. 4, it's fine. And by the time it came round again by the end, I thought, no, it is great. Love the old one, but this one fits better. So, yeah.
Cool.
Also, Luke Summerhays mentioned this. I should have actually gone back and checked, but it's like, this is Oscar Lily on Twitter. I'm sure you had about 10 of this tweet already, but this sounds a lot like the Art Attack music.
Well, let's find out. Hold on. So I'm assuming it's the Art Attack intro 1990s is what I've got here. Let's have a listen.
This is an Art Attack. This is an Art Attack.
Oh.
This is Art Attack.
Absolutely nothing like it.
It's absolutely nothing like it. Well, see, he must be thinking of something else.
Yeah, I don't quite.
It opens with some drums. That's it. What are you talking about? Look, I was absolutely delighted with the response that we had to our new theme tune because, we spoke about it a lot beforehand, but there is definitely a thing with radio and podcasting where if you change something very small or maybe something big like a theme tune, some people take that stuff like as quite a big thing. then no matter how good it is, how bad it is, people just go crazy and they're really angry that something that they're so used to hearing at the start of the show is different now. And I mean, like, do you remember the theme tune to Peep Show? That's not exactly a radio or podcast, but when that changed, everyone was like, "What the fuck?" And then you just get used to it, and it's fine after that. So,
and that original theme tune was bollocks. The Peep Show one, not ours.
It was just weird.
After how many series did it suddenly change the theme song?
I think it was literally
2. I think
it was the second series they changed it. Yeah.
Oh, it might have been the second series.
And then
I
it was
thought
the
maybe
same throughout from there on in.
Yeah. They went with the flagpole setter.
Yeah. Give it like a few months, and then you'll go back and listen to an old episode, hear the old theme tune, and just think, oh yeah, no, this sounds. Yeah, no, I much prefer the new one. I mean, I like the old one, but I much prefer the new one. So it was good to see so many people like that seem to like it. I wasn't expecting that at all.
I was relieved, frankly. Stephen Norman, hi guys. I mean, he said that because, sorry, not sure how to address you properly anymore. I'm even more confused by Matt's rebranding argument than I was by his justification for Xbox X, Series X.
God.
Anyway, given the time you've all spent playing and discussing Animal Crossing, I wanted to ask why you all seemingly dismissed it in your brief Game of the Year discussion in last week's TCGS to Computer Game Show pod.
I did not do
I
that.
asked you
We didn't dismiss. Read the email.
I asked you because I'm the same. 275 hours in, still play it every day, can't live without it. But Streets of Rage 4 easily tops my list so far, and I can imagine Resi 3, In Other Waters, Kentucky Route Zero, and more ending up above it too. And I don't know why. Why do you think? Also, P.S. Matt, love your Resi 3 stream. I wasn't going to get it until I saw you play it and thought that's not what I read about in the reviews. Thanks. Thanks, Stephen, for that.
I think it's totally understandable that it's not, because the thing is it's been an amazing game to play, but it's not like an earth-shattering game, if you know what I mean. Like other things have been over the last couple of years. That's probably why.
As we've discussed, there are a lot of technical things you could pick at as well.
Yeah,
and not even technical, like things that could probably quite easily be fixed.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but
fundamental aspects of that game are completely disgraceful as well.
But a lot of it is stuff that it's only because it's under the lens of us playing it fucking every day for months.
I really think that's a big factor.
So I can't get too angry about it.
But then there's also the whole one island, one version of the game. There's more than just that, I think.
Well, I disagree with that, because I think even if we only played it for like 5 hours, you'd be like, this is annoying. Yes, we've all played it for hundreds of hours, and it seems worse because we have to deal with it every day, and the quality of life fixes they can make could improve things massively. But yeah, there's just so many things that it could fix. But technically it works. I think we dismissed it more just because we didn't want to get into it right now, I think.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
because it'd be really shit to halfway through the year just be like, oh yeah, well it's definitely this, isn't it? So even if that is what we actually think.
It's true.
I was of the games that Stephen's mentioned, Kentucky Route Zero is definitely something we need to address.
Yeah,
and I'm intrigued that he's put In Other Waters there as well, because I've had my eye on that. And people say it is really good. But it looks like visually it looks quite sparse, but apparently it's incredibly chilled and good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try that out, I think.
Okay. I mean that's it. We don't want to start giving away everything yet.
Yeah.
There's a long way to go in the year, and also I didn't want to have. There will be a time at some point this year where James and I have a long old discussion about Animal Crossing.
We've already had
look forward to that.
There's been preludes to that on WhatsApp.
I know okay. I've got lots to say to you, James.
I know you have.
I can't wait.
I've got lots to say to you as well.
I've got lots to discuss about that game.
Yeah.
Andrew Gushwind on Twitter. There was honestly no confusion about the new name besides the one Dave tried to force as usual.
Yeah, well, you got me.
Yeah. About your Gotti
That's
show,
what I do.
It feels like you tend to ignore some games because you have this rule of not talking about a game once you binge it, like AC, like Animal Crossing now, or Fire Emblem Heroes last year. Thoughts?
Fire Emblem Heroes?
My thoughts, Andre, is what?
Three Houses. Heroes was the mobile one.
Oh, wait, I mean, you just said FE.
What? I don't understand. We have a rule of not talking about a game once you binge it.
Well, yeah, it just means that, when, week 4 of Animal Crossing, we were just like, yeah, we're still playing it, but no one wants to hear any more about it, so move on. That's what I did with Fire Emblem last year, because it was...
Do you know what? I thought AC was Assassin's Creed. That's what totally threw me off of that. No, I think what it is that the reason why we've got that, you're just conscious, aren't you? I mean, if we were doing that for a game that you didn't like or have never played or no intention to play, I think you'd be a little bit pissed off.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about Animal Crossing a lot, and it gets to the point where you go, okay, I want to talk about Animal Crossing now or whatever, but I need to at least have something new to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to come into it and go, yeah, I'm saving my bills and I did the turnips and this week we nearly got a good price. But, there's nothing new to really go into. I was hoping that today might be a bit different, but probably not. Yeah, because I've done most of the stuff that's been set out for the June event. But it's, there's not much more that we can go into at this point. And even if there was a few things that we think it doesn't really justify bringing the game up again, we'll save all that stuff up, and then when something big happens, we can cover a lot more stuff. It's not like we're going to not talk about that game again until the Game of the Year show, but it's just over the past couple of weeks, it's probably best not to go into.
I mean, yeah, James has built a football stadium.
Yeah,
so's Harry. Harry's all over it at the moment.
Dave, have you seen my football stadium?
No, I haven't seen it.
What?
Was this the thing that you were talking about last week?
On Twitter, the videos, yeah.
Yeah,
but I haven't been on,
Well, you have.
I've been weird lately with social media. But I haven't seen his tweet. When did you put that out, James?
About 2 days ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah, I definitely missed it.
Yeah, it looks great.
It was at the weekend, but... Cool,
anyway,
I'll have a look.
Mark Davey at DavyBlue78 on Twitter. I'm glad that Microsoft's name was nowhere near the epic tech demo. When the next gen comes around and games look fuck all like it will be the PS5 then members saying it was this good looking. Feels like Watch Dogs type all over again.
As much as I said about, PlayStation not being tied to Epic, I think it works both ways. I don't think anyone's going to turn around and say, see, Sony lied. They didn't, did they? I mean, this is Epic's thing. It didn't feel like Sony's thing at all, to me anyway. Yeah. And I don't think... there will be downgrades in those graphics. I have no doubt about it, but I don't think you could hold that against Sony, can you?
No, I mean, it's an Epic thing. I wouldn't... Yeah. I think Sony get the benefits, but if it... I mean, it's not going to work that way because there was no AI. It was just like that giant set piece. There's no other characters. It was
but it's sort of being sort of tangentially related means they'll get some good PR out of it, but if games do end up looking worse, they can sort of distance themselves and be like, well, that was Epic's.
Yeah, it was Epic. Yeah,
the thing, it's
Epic did that, not us.
Win-win. It's win-win.
We just made the computer that it was on.
Yeah, in a way. Andrew Gushman's back. About the Xbox and Japan talk. Many things to correct. But most importantly, the false impression that Japan isn't a relevant market anymore.
Okay, look, stop.
Can I finish?
We never said that. We never said that.
I'm still midway through a fucking sentence. Right. Isn't it a relevant market anymore? It's still the second largest country market for Nintendo/Sony after the USA. James.
Yeah, we never said that. I'm really certain we never said that it was not insignificant.
It felt less important than Europe and USA. So that's what he's referring to.
I don't remember you saying that.
Well, I'm telling you, I did say that.
But if you did, you were wrong.
I'm probably misremembering. I thought the discussion or the suggestion was that Japan's just not as big a market as it used to be, just because of how things have grown. But it wasn't. Yeah, certainly weren't trying to imply that it wasn't actually important anymore. I don't think. But
I also didn't know it's the second largest country market after the USA. I thought Europe would be bigger than it, but I guess I was wrong. Shooters and online games are very popular. This biggest new IP this decade is Splatoon, an online shooter COD and GTA do GTA do well every year as well.
Okay,
The biggest
cool.
issue is that Microsoft, and to a lesser degree Sony, don't have the IP that sells well there. Sony gets by due to having every third-party game that releases, but even then, just so. Microsoft has no base to even expand from. Lifetime sales of Xbox One are 100k, while PS4 is just under 10 million, and Switch is already over 13 million. It's likely that both the Xbox Series X and PS5 will sell less than their predecessors, but that is more so because they're going to be expensive.
No, the online games thing is interesting because I know I said, that was something everyone used to say about Japan, but I'm pretty sure that must have changed by now. So yeah, but I'm interested to hear that like COD and GTA do well over there because I knew Splatoon was huge. But yeah, I wasn't sure if there was a market for the more obviously Western stuff, but I guess there is.
There's also like Monster Hunter and stuff like that as well, isn't there? That's like massively popular.
Yeah. But you see, the Monster Hunter is an interesting example because that, like, for most of the franchise's lifetime lived on handheld consoles because no one, they didn't give a shit about online play. And it's only really Monster Hunter World that's really brought that in, and that's what's allowed it to do much better in the West.
Because it was one of the things, wasn't it, that kept the PSP really going? Like in Japan was Monster Hunter because it was massive.
That was it. And then next generation, it went to the 3DS rather than a home console. It was weird.
I mean, how well does like the Yakuza series sell over there? Is that a big seller?
Yeah, it does very well. Yeah, it's not. It does very well.
Cool. Last week I got something wrong. Well, I got many things wrong, probably, but Alex has found just one of them. Alex at Alex79 UK. Confusion between PS Now and PS Plus last week. COD is coming to PS Plus, not PS Now, which is why I said, glad we got that clarified. £6 _games on Twitter. Feedback, James Farley's Revolution. I was wondering if, given his research interests, James might consider live streaming Homefront the Revolution. His expertise would offer a perspective that game critics might have overlooked at the time of game's release.
That's just like a bit of a hidden gem as well, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
I remember looking at that and thinking that looks dreadful. And
no, hang on.
This Homefront 2 you're talking about?
No, I'm thinking of Freedom Fighters. Ignore me. I've no idea what this is.
I remember playing the original one, but I didn't play it for too long, but just hating it. That's the sequel, is it? I don't know if this is referring to.
I don't know if this is the one where it's the North Korean one where they like change it so it's an army. You see, part of the problem is that the premise is ridiculous, and that makes it a bit difficult to critique.
What is the premise?
Well, the premise is that North Korea invades America, and it's an absurd premise. Like it would never happen. And so it's a bit difficult to, critiquing it would be a bit difficult, I think.
I think you should give it a go. We're going to end with Adam Littlefield. Hi, you. Last week's parkour enthusiasm from James. I can 100% make this happen. I know a guy, he's local, and as well as being trained in all that parkour instruction, he also studied as a Shaolin monk for a bit, so he's a character. In fact, his origin story is basically a podcast in its own right. Let me know when to set up the parkour sessions. Looking forward to parkour calls.
I mean, we've got to do this, right?
Straight. I mean, at the moment, we're allowed to.
Well, yeah.
I think we should do this. James, if we set this all up, would you actually do it?
I'd be genuinely interested in doing this, yeah.
Right, because I would love to film this. Like,
I'll tell you this now. No one is going to force you to do, like, it's not going to be crazy. You're not going to be jumping buildings and shit.
Well, hang on. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He might get really into it.
Yeah. Don't
fall off. He'll fall and break his neck. I just think, just you doing the beginner's course, a few little hop skips and jumps, that would make some brilliant video content, wouldn't it?
See, I'd be more than happy to do this as long as I have veto over any videos that are released.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely not. That's not how it works.
No, James, you've got to sign the release, and then we are the producers, and then you see the final product.
James, you can't hold us to that.
All I want is a slow motion video of James vaulting over a bollard. I'll be happy.
The gifts will be unbelievable.
Go on then. I genuinely would like to do this. Honestly, I think it'd be fun.
Can we change the Twitch layout so we have those little pop up notifications when people sub and stuff, and it's all just gifs of James jumping over shit,
doing parkour?
Yeah, I can bring them back. Yeah, I mean, I think actually I want to rebrand everything now, and everything is just pictures of James parkouring.
Oh God, what are you going to call James? What are you going to rebrand James as? Professor Parkour.
Yeah, that.
Wait. Do free runners have like cool names, or is that a thing, or do they just use their real names? I don't know what the rules
Brian.
are.
Steve, we can start it.
Nathan, it's a good name.
Peter Parkour. Peter Parkour.
Peter Parkour. That has definitely been done before. Right. Any more feedback?
That's it for feedback. It's at TCGS Co on Twitter if you want to tweet us.
Oh, he nearly got himself out.
No, and then, or you can email podcast@computergameshow.com.
Wait, doesn't our email address change?
No, we discussed this last week.
Yeah,
did we?
A couple of months.
It will do, but not for 2 months until we can move.
Okay, 2 months. Right. Okay, 2 months. 2 months. Right. News.
Okay, yeah. So there's been news. This week we were going to be talking about the fact that Sony was going to do like an event, but they've now delayed their PS5 showcase, and EA has also delayed their NFL 21 reveal in support of the Black Lives Matter protests that are going on at the moment. So several studios have tweeted in support of this, including like Sony, Naughty Dog, and EA. So, this was Sony's statement. They said, we denounce systemic racism and violence against the black community. We will continue to work towards a future marked by empathy and inclusion and stand with our black creators, players, employees, families, and friends. # Black Lives Matter. And so then today, this is Monday, just before we were going to record, they had decided to postpone their 4th of June event with that, with the statement saying that they didn't really feel that now was the right time for this because there's other conversations that need to go ahead. But prior to this, EA had already decided to delay the launch of their NFL 21 reveal. And in a statement, they said, we stand with our African-American black community of friends, players, colleagues, and partners. Our immediate attention is on actions we can take to drive change against the unjust treatment and systemic bias that is plaguing the nation and our world. So, the situation is appalling. What's going on, but there are things that can be done. Sean tweeted out some links, I think, from the TCGS account earlier this week. So have a look at them for sort of further information. But it's bad. And
to be clear, and to keep this brief, we did have a discussion about how much we were going to talk about this today. All we want to say is, if you're in America and you're listening to this, then you're in our thoughts. We didn't want to have a dragged out, prolonged discussion about this because we're, 4 blokes from the UK who are, we could talk about it as much as we not want. We're not living the life like the people out there are. And it just feels completely irrelevant. So I think if you do want to, if you were hoping for us to talk about this and you're disappointed with it that we're not, then maybe go and seek out people that are actually involved in this in a much more meaningful way than we are, and listen to their words instead of ours. Because it's one of those situations where I think that what we think about it is kind of irrelevant because we're not living that life, we're not fighting that battle. Yeah. So that's where we stand with it. And I apologise if you're disappointed with that. Our intention here is not to try and turn our back on it. Our intention here is to respectfully say that actually this is too sensitive for us to pass our opinions on sitting from the comfort of our own living rooms. That's it.
Agreed, yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, it's the right thing. Everyone cancelling their events. It'll be madness to have it now. So, yeah, it's the right thing. It's the right call. And obviously, there's time for video games another time, but it's certainly not now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I can't imagine sticking stuff out there now. It just, it's not the right time, and thankfully, they're not putting this stuff out there and trying to promote their video game.
And because I was like, surely that isn't going to happen on Thursday. But yeah, thankfully, someone read the room, and yeah, good.
Yep.
Next.
Okay. Right. So this is the problem because moving into another story now is a little.
It's like that thing they have to do on the news sometimes, isn't it? When there's a really awkward shift in tone between stories.
So now I'm wondering.
It is a genuine concern, that, isn't it? Yeah. It happens in radio. You just got to look for that on YouTube. You go onto YouTube and look for the transitions between news segments on radio. There's so many clips out there where they completely fuck it up because, there is so much more long-form radio, and then they just go from a really serious subject to, anyway, coming up. It's like, it's well cringe. But now let's hear how James does it.
Don't do that to me.
sorry. Go on.
So anyway, a tech journalist has teased what he's calling a revolutionary, in inverted commas, scoop in next week's Famitsu regarding Sega.
This has been so weird.
Although
do you know what this reminds me of?
It's this week now, just to be clear.
Yeah.
You telling your other half that you've got an amazing Christmas present, and then as the days build up and the expectation, is it a eternity ring? Oh right. Oh, that's the expectation. Okay. Oh fuck. What am I going to do when she opens up a new pair of shoes?
Well, you see, the thing is this tech journalist, a guy called Zenji Nishikawa, and he's hinted at this big scoop on his live stream on his YouTube channel.
Sorry, a big what?
Hmm?
It sounded like you said a scoop.
A scoop. Okay, a huge scoop. Okay, that may have happened because
I'm Steve McLaren.
It's a huge scoop. Okay, during a live stream on his YouTube channel. So the news is supposed to be published on the 4th of June issue of Weekly Famitsu. And, I mean, he has built this up because he's described this as a world premiere article that will rival Wired's exclusive PS5 story. So he's kind of like saying that this is going to be as big as, like, revealing a whole new console and everything.
That's not happening.
So he said, I mean, this is what he said. He said, it's a scoop from a game company that everyone loves. An insane scoop. Last year, Wired got the exclusive story on PlayStation 5, right? Other media didn't. It's that level of a scoop. I interviewed a certain company's executive.
I got the scoop here, right?
I got the scoop here, boy.
This is the thing. I've never heard the word scoop used so many times as in this
a lot
article.
of scoop.
It's
I've
insane.
never heard the word scoop used so many times either, to be fair.
So he says, I interviewed a certain company's executive and technical staff. It's really revolutionary. Really, it's a revolution. It's a scoop from a game company that everyone loves. And it's just, that's kind of crazy.
He never said Sega?
No, he does though. It says he stopped short of confirming who or what the scoop might be about, but then some viewers noticed that Sega seemed to be accidentally name dropped, and then after that he just said, "Did I say Sega? Then it's Sega." And then he also went on to say it was not a Dreamcast 2. And that was the thing. So then it all went into overdrive about how people just started saying Microsoft are buying Sega, or Microsoft are going to release the Xbox Series X in like Japan, Sega branded was like one of the other ones.
Amazing.
This is all since. I mean, I don't know where those rumours came from because
the Sega stuff. What has been a long rumour of basically people. Sega would be a good one for Microsoft to buy. Microsoft said they're obviously looking to acquire Japanese studios or Japanese companies. So I think that's where that came from. There was no link to this other than people thought, hang on, Sega, Microsoft buying them. So I think a lot of people think, this guy said the Microsoft stuff. This guy hadn't mentioned Microsoft. He didn't mention Microsoft at all. It's just other people like adding a couple of rumours together, and now suddenly Sega's releasing the Xbox Series X.
Which I can't see happening. I mean, it doesn't. It makes very little sense. I mean, to do that. I mean, there's two things from this. Microsoft buying Sega, that would be a massive deal. If they did that, that'd be a big deal. Mm-hmm. But if
they did that, then they might as well call it the Sega Series X, right?
They could do that. I mean, it would kill.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, I've seen some people say, because Sega's got a bigger pull in Japan, but isn't that Microsoft just Trojan horsing it into Japan?
I agree with you, but
work?
I think the only way when we were talking about this beforehand, the only way I can see it making sense if Sega games only come out on that console.
Exactly.
And that's the bit that I can't see happening.
Yeah.
Unless they acquire the whole company. But then even then, it's strange because none of us really know what position Sega are in at the moment, right? Because
they're in a good position. They're in a really good position.
The arcade machines are a big business for them, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's Sega Sammy, isn't it? I mean, they've got all those pachinko machines, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Their games division are doing really well at the moment as well, as a software company. This makes no sense for them to be happy to be bought. The two things is if they got bought, as I said, with all the games and everything, that would be a big deal. But if they are just going to release the Series X, but then they're still going to release Sega games on other platforms as well, what is the point?
Pointless.
There's completely no point in doing that at all. I don't understand
why. They've rebranched it, you fool.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's I don't think Japanese gamers are going to be fooled by that.
Exactly. Sega. I mean, there's been mock-ups and they look amazing. Obviously, they're just mock-ups and people who've...
They don't look amazing. They look awful.
They don't. Yeah, they really don't.
I mean, even just like seeing the Sega logo on a box, I was like, oh Christ, that looks so good. And, like even just on the mocked-up box with the little blue bits.
Really?
Anyway.
It just looked like a Sega logo on a box.
I know,
like,
And the thing is, the worst part
brilliant.
is, right, if this was true and that was all it was, like, people not in Japan would be ordering them. They'd be importing them. Oh, I got Sega Xbox,
definitely.
mate. It's better. It's got a sticker on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Sega Xbox. But in terms of like Microsoft buying Sega, I think it makes total sense. Like they've got Atlas, so they've got all the Persona games. They've got Creative Assembly that does all the Total War games.
Have they got them, though? Are they actually... Surely that's just publishing deals, right? They're not owned.
They are publishing deals, yeah.
Hold on. I don't think anyone's saying Microsoft buying Sega would be a bad move for Microsoft. I think
it'd be a terrible
people
move
are saying,
for Sega.
why would
Sega
Sega sell to
bought.
Microsoft? Yeah.
Don't know.
I think that's where the... I mean, anything can happen. I wouldn't put a bet on it, but I'd still be very, very surprised if Microsoft acquired Sega.
I mean, if this
I don't
was
think
the
it's
year...
that either. I think this is something that is just blown out of proportion, and when the story comes out, everyone's going to be like, "You're fucking kidding
but
me."
this
Well,
guy
that was one. That was what was one of the things online people were saying. They're like, well, knowing Famitsu, this is probably going to be a new logo or something like that, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
but
not anything.
I heard in the week like this guy's pretty legit. It'd be. I mean, I don't think it's anything to be like as big as like Wide Scoop on PlayStation 5. So that's just not going to happen. But like, it's a bit weird for like a legit journalist to say, "Oh, I've got a massive scoop and it's all blown up." I mean, it feels like I don't know.
No,
it feels
Famitsu
like,
have got form for this. Famitsu always do this sort of thing, like say that there's going to be like massive things happening, and then they don't.
Right.
It's
it felt a bit weird for like a legit journalist to say, "Oh yeah, this is happening," and it's surely only going to backfire on them. Anyway, either way, it's exciting. God knows what it's going to be. It's almost certainly nothing, but it's been fun to dream, fun to talk about the Sega Xbox Series X and the mock-ups and what happened in Microsoft owned Sega and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll see on the 4th of June, which is what, Thursday.
So,
Do you remember when... Sorry, I'm just remembering like the last bit of like... Oh, is this a Sega thing? You remember when there was that Stadia event and they had all the retro consoles out on display and everyone was like, fuck, is it just going to emulate everything? And there was a Dreamcast there. I was like, fuck, what if it could emulate Dreamcast game? Nope, absolutely not.
So no, they're just decoration.
Yeah.
That's
Just going, look, we've seen games consoles, look.
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
right.
just to clarify, yes, Atlas is a subsidiary of Sega, and Sega also own Creative Assembly.
Oh,
so,
right, they do actually own them. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they got some big studios within Sega, big IP. So, and even if Microsoft did buy them, they would do like I've done for the other current acquisitions, like Minecraft Dungeons on every platform and Outer Worlds on every platform. I can see them just owning it but releasing it. It makes sense also to have it on every platform until they suddenly think
they're not. Microsoft aren't releasing everything on every platform. Only Minecraft they're doing that with, like the Outer Worlds and stuff like that. That was just because deals had already been done for those to come out on other platforms already.
Yeah.
But
I can't say about the
won't.
future, but I can say as of now, up to now, that's how it's been working.
Okay, what if? I mean, this is all nonsense. It's all made up. What if the announcement was Dreamcast, Saturn, Mega Drive games come into Game Pass?
I mean, that would be pretty massive, and I haven't really seen anyone else talk about that.
And it would make sense. It seems believable as well.
But a lot of those games are already on there anyway. Like, you can already get like all the Mega Drive games and stuff.
Yeah, but,
through...
but not Saturn. I mean, Saturn would be hard because I believe it's hard to do that sort of stuff anyway. But yeah, I mean, if they had a deal for like Dreamcast and Saturn stuff, that'd be unbelievable.
What if that? Oh my god! What if that's it?
I mean, I think there would be massive.
That would be huge. That would be huge for Microsoft.
Yeah.
I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially because although. Yes, but also like Sega. I mean, I didn't buy it, but Sega. Everyone said Sega did really well with the Genesis Mini or the Mega Drive Mini. So it's not like Sony when they botched it with like the mini PlayStation 1. So they did really well.
This
so
is what I didn't get. You were saying that you wanted to buy a second Xbox if it had the Sega logo on it, and you haven't bought their products that they bought out since. Anyway,
it's pointless. We'll play everything for 1 second, if that. But yeah, I mean, that would be amazing if they had a deal like that, where they said, like Sega's back catalogue is on Game Pass.
Okay, fuck it. I'm going to say that's my predictions because there's going to be something to do with Game Pass and Sega games appearing on Game Pass, but like ones that you couldn't.
I was going to say, I think
elsewhere.
that should include Dreamcast stuff. In order for it to be Megaton, I think it's got to be like Saturn and Dreamcast stuff rather than just.
But well, when you look at the Dreamcast ones, what ones, Anyway,
absolute loads.
So the same for the Saturn stuff, couldn't you? Really?
What if they got implemented the VMU into their Xbox app? Like, so that all of that stuff will work with it. That'd be so good. But I'm sure we'll know before Thursday because this is a print magazine, isn't it? So,
well,
the chances are.
There was also because one of the we talked about. Was it? I've forgotten his name. I've totally forgotten his name.
Daniel Ahmed.
That's right. Yeah. Because he tweeted today, like saying that like somebody had seen the magazine and was like, "Yeah, this is not a thing. Like, this is not something massive at all.
Okay.
Like it's just
really.
Yeah, I sent you the tweet, but I can't remember what it was. It's but he was like, "No, this is not like a revolutionary game-changing thing at all." And that's why people were speculating it was a logo change and stuff like that instead. Cause...
All right, let's find out. A few more days to wait. But I must admit, it's been quite fun watching all the chat around it.
Yeah.
And I am definitely going to be checking out that Twitter feed when the news comes out, for sure.
Okay, after July, all new PS4 games have to support PS5 as well. So this is something like Sony have just informed developers that anything that's after the 13th of July has to work on PS5. So this means they have to run with no issues and also to support all the additional features of the PS5 as well. But then also, the other weird thing about this that they made very clear was that if you have to always retain compatibility after any patch is released. So you can't like release a patch for PS4, the game, and then it suddenly stops it working on PS5. Like that's not acceptable. But this is only going to affect like remaining PS4 games, but not things from before. Like it's just from the 13th onwards. So yeah, I guess that's because they're just trying to make sure that they've already got a bit of a library going before the.
But the games that previously come out should work on the PS5 anyway, right?
Yeah, well, this is the thing.
Backwards compatibility.
None of this is clear. Like the only thing they've really said is that the top 100 most played games will be available, but they haven't said anything else aside from that. They haven't.
I know, and people took that way out of context. I think.
Yeah,
it's one of those, isn't it? I think wasn't there like an article doing the rounds where they said, via a download. Some of the PS4 games would be compatible on the PS5, right?
Yeah.
But you would assume, and I hope we're rightfully assuming here, that they're only covering their backs for the handful of games that are either not compatible or there's some sort of license agreement, which means that they can't release it or make it workable on another system.
If you've already negotiated a license, like if you're producing a game based on film, whatever. That's a pain in the arse, right? If you were planning on doing it on one console.
We've noticed that. Yeah, we've noticed that. I think Microsoft were hoping for a lot more devs to come forward and agree to let them put their games on backwards compatible for Xbox One. Mm-hmm. But it's almost definitely down to it would have cost them money through licensing to do that. And obviously the money that they're going to sell these 360 games for is not going to be anywhere near what they need to get those costs back.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'd be interested to hear how Sony are working with developers, because I was reading this month's Edge magazine has got a big preview on The Ascent, that was shown at the Microsoft thing the other week, the sort of cyberpunk sort of shooter RPG where you're going up the big tower. And they basically said, like, we were approached by Microsoft. They want, they like the game. They wanted to potentially put it on this presentation. But you said, they've sent us the dev kits and it's not been plain sailing. You said, but like we've had like loads of help from them. They're always, at the end of the phone if we need any help, and it's been, it's been a pretty good process. Whereas the way this news has come out is like devs are just being like forced to do it. Do you know what I mean? Which might be unfair. It might be that Sony are, giving loads of help and stuff, but it's just a shame that it's sort of come out this way, I think.
See, I reckon what they're going to do with the backwards compatibility of this is it's going to be like the 360 stuff, like it was with the Xbox One, where it's like they just slowly, more stuff comes out over time, where they're just like, this works now, this works now, that kind of thing. It's but they'll just get the priority stuff going first.
Yeah,
it's
And it has to have the same features, right? Sorry, I thought we were saying that it has to like use extra stuff on the PS5, and I was going to say, well, what difference other than looking nicer? Like. But yeah, no, that's fine.
Presumably it means like like the share button stuff. There's lots of speculation that they're going to offer like better streaming capability from it and things like that. So presumably it means things like that or whatever. For that.
I wonder how easy it is to. This is really boring, but I wonder how easy it is to just switch from traditional Rumble to the haptic stuff. I mean, I assume it's not too difficult because that's what they do.
Yeah, I guess the haptic
Switch, right?
stuff will just have like a default Rumble setting that you just turn on.
Yeah,
or off,
default Rumble setting. Yeah.
Rumble
okay.
Now.
All right. Yeah, just default.
Okay, so there's that, but then also Sony have also said this week that they've no interest in making PS5 games work on the PS4. So what this is talking about like the idea of like forwards compatibility or whatever, because like Microsoft has pledged that all first-party Xbox Series X games will work on the original Xbox One for at least the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's like the thing. So any first-party games will work on that. Third parties, it's up to them whether they do or not. But Jim Ryan from Sony has said that they're not interested at all in doing the same thing. I mean, he said this. He said, "We have always said that we believe in generations. We believe that when you go to all the trouble of creating a next-generation console, that it should include features and benefits that the previous generation does not include. In our view, people should make games that can make the most of these features, whether it's the DualSense controller, whether it's the 3D audio, whether it's the multiple ways that the SSD can be used. We're thinking that this is the time to give the PlayStation community something new, something different that they can really only be enjoyed on the PS5. And I mean, predictably, he also then said that they were not going to be abandoning the PS4. But this is interesting because this is like the two completely different approaches, that they seem to be going for. Although Microsoft are only taking this approach for first-party stuff, though. Like, it's not like for the entire console.
Mm-hmm. And well, so are Sony, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I mean, but it's so difficult to predict what is the correct stance here because. Yeah. Sony, I mean, the reason why they want to do that, according to them, is not to shift consoles, it's to take full advantage of the hardware. However, when you've got one console doing that and the other not, then the only one taking advantage of the full capabilities of that hardware are going to be exclusive games.
But then, as we were saying, when we talked about
third-party stuff,
the Series X, and we were saying, are we going to end up with this period of, games on the new console that don't actually look as amazing as they could because devs are still sort of developing between the two. But we were saying that's kind of what happens anyway. Like
for third party anyway.
Yeah, like the first year of PS5 games, and of course they're not going to be like massively showing off what the system's capable of because it's the first year. But I mean, if this is the stance they're taking, it's going to be interesting to see what those first party PS5 games look like. Because in order to compete, because like. As a consumer, this sounds like a worse deal to me, right? Whereas I feel like Microsoft are trying to help me ease through the transition because it means I'm more likely to eventually, I'll just keep buying games and then eventually the prospect of buying a Series X will be better down the line and I won't think, oh, fuck, I have to rebuy a ton of games in order to do it.
But that's the only problem with that, though, isn't it? Because it means, like, for me, I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking, well, them telling me that my games are still going to work on Xbox One for like another 2 years means that I won't get a Series X yet. Because what's the point?
That's the thing, though, James, is that we've said it before. Microsoft aren't interested in selling you a console.
Yeah, I know. Keep you in the ecosystem, and will you be more likely to keep buying Xbox games, thinking, well, if I just stick to this one format, then I know at some point when I've got the money, I can just buy the new console, and I've already got the library. Whereas with the PS5, you're looking at rebuying a ton of games potentially.
And how like I mean you're gonna third party developers going to be happy to produce a game that works on both Xbox One and Series X, but then also PS4 and PS3. But the PS4 and PS3 SKUs have to be separate. I mean, that's not necessarily what they're saying, but that's kind of what they're hinting at.
You mean PS4 and 5?
It's going to be.
PS4 and 5. Sorry, yeah. They ain't bringing out games for PS3 no more. But like, you know what I mean? It gets really complicated, and I think. There's a number of factors that will determine the success or the winner of next generation, which seems to be an even more sort of redundant argument these days. But I think the thing that I'm really interested in is when the first wave of third-party games come out, the high-end AAA third-party games, when they do the side-by-side comparisons and they say that it always seems to be one console runs a game better than the other. So when the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, it was always the PS4 running it better. But when the Pro and the One X come out, it was always the One X that would run it better. And although that's not a deal breaker, that is a constant reminder every time these new games come out that it gets plastered everywhere that the best version is on this console. So putting these head to head would be really interesting. But where do their priorities lie? Where do these developers' priorities lie? Do they lie with... I mean, again, that all goes down to install base. But would they see the install base for Microsoft to be Xbox One and Series X owners? And would they... You know what I mean? It's so complicated now because they're going down two completely different directions with these machines that I think this is going to be... Although I don't think it's going to offer the biggest progress in our hobby, you know, like the biggest technical progress of a generation, I think the business side of it is going to be fascinating to follow and potentially really important. So yeah, it's crazy. It's fucking mad.
This is like the most exciting potential thing that this suggests is that when we do get to see this showcase of all the PS5 exclusive stuff, that it just is that fucking incredible that we're like, yeah, of course you can never do this on a PS4. It's just that seems a little bit unlikely to me. But
yeah, it's crazy how the ideas change. But then I will say this: I was thinking this the other day. You go back to that original Xbox One announcement and all the bits that they wanted to implement, and we all said when they did it, these are not terrible ideas. They're just a generation too early.
Yeah.
If they announce the same thing now, we'd still be saying the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, I remember discussing, will they have CD drives in these? What is it? 7 years later, and if they announce these consoles without a disc drive, we'd be still baffled.
Probably still,
it's crazy, man. You can't predict this stuff. You just can't. It's bizarre.
But yeah, I was really looking forward to obviously the PS5 thing because I think unless they do something stupid, which I can't see happening, I think it's going to be incredible. Like because it's going to show off loads of IP, loads of new games. I think they're all going to look stunning. I think it's going to be really bad for Microsoft when that showcase happens because I think it's just going to look stunning. But I'm excited.
That's what I'm saying. They need to come out with something special when they do theirs later in the year. They need to come out with something very special because they're behind in terms of their own first-party software.
Who are?
Microsoft.
Microsoft are, yeah.
Yeah. They're behind with their own first-party software, and if Sony come out with some really impressive stuff before they do, and then what they show doesn't look anywhere near as impressive, then they're in big trouble.
See, I think the only problem that Sony are going to have with this is the fact that everyone's been waiting for sort of so long for this, to like see something and for them to sort of show their hand, as it were. I can't see how anything is going to satisfy what people want, and it's people probably are going to be annoyed.
No, I mean, I say the opposite. Like, it doesn't matter what, and basically they've got 100+ million customers already that love the PS4. Like, even if, like, I think they are going to be impressed because it's a new PlayStation. It's a new PlayStation. Like that has more of that gets people more excited than another Xbox. I think, given how this generation's gone. So I think it's going to look stunning. I think they're going to show off like, here's maybe all you got to do is like show again looks amazing at the end. Say Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch or all the logos of their studios, and suddenly it's like, oh my god, the new Guerrilla game, Horizon Zero Dawn 2. All they got to do is show a logo, pretty much, and you're like, holy shit, this is going to look good. And I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see the price, the release date, the box itself. But I mean, I think that showcase, unless they were to do something stupid, which I can't see them doing, I think it's going to look unbelievable, frankly.
See, I agree that I agree that the interest is definitely higher because if you look at anything that like Sony put out, like on their YouTube channels or on Twitter or whatever, like the engagement with that is far, far higher than like Xbox stuff, like much, much higher by like millions, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that's also why Sony have messed up in the past. Like we've done those conferences, like we've talked over, where they've just done stuff that has not worked, and it's
they've messed up, but they've never had a lead like this. Like the PS3, 360, I think for that generation was widely regarded as like the one to get, but by the end, PS3 overtook it in sales, but the narrative was with 360 for the whole thing. That was where the better for multi-platform games were. Xbox Live was great, so that had the narrative, but basically, ultimately in the end, PS3 sold better, although they were close at the end, but PS3 sold better. Now, PS4's got Sony's got a 50 million console lead on this generation, so this is harder than it's ever been for Microsoft, regardless of all the acquisitions, all the things they've done, all the goodwill of Game Pass, etc., all the things we've just been discussing over the last year or two. Like Sony's lead in this generation is so massive that they have a massive lead going into the next one. And
see,
as I said in the past,
that's why I can't understand why they're not like making a big thing of like not just backwards compatibility, but of keeping people locked into all of this with all the stuff they've already got. And it does feel strange that they're taking this approach of, like kind of, it looks like they're cutting off like PS4 owners, if you sort of mean, with this new machine.
Are you going to read the quote? It's an interesting quote, isn't it, in that piece?
Which one? Let's have a look.
Hey, TCGS stays TCGS forever.
It's just which one, isn't it?
I know. It's just the way. Can we have the quote? Oh, well, which one?
Which one? In this article, there's about 6 quotes.
Yeah, it's one about all the numbers.
The one with the numbers. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah. Okay, so he says the numbers are quite straightforward. If you say in broad brush figures that we have a community of 100 million PS4 owners right now, and in the first couple of years, I don't know, somewhere between 15 and 25 million might migrate to the PS5, that still leaves a huge number of people with PS4s. And that community is demonstrating an amazing stickiness and willingness to stay engaged that I think the events of the past few months have just reinforced what we already knew.
So it's saying, they've got such massive numbers that even if a small percentage moves over to PS5 now,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so it's just all fascinating. I'm happy, and it's good for us as sort of like fans of all this to see both these companies go very different ways. I mean, I think Microsoft is definitely much more consumer friendly, but this is more exciting because we're going to see games which are built for the new hardware and. Yeah, it's exciting. It's fascinating to see where it's going to go.
Are we though?
That's the thing.
I mean, you would hope.
You'd hope so, and the only concern with that is that launch games for new hardware, they never blow you away, do they?
No, it's rare.
So
I wouldn't say that.
It's going to take a long time before they absolutely smash the shit out of that hardware.
There's been loads of games that have done that.
Like what?
What do you mean? What?
Like what?
Okay, Mario 64, Breath of the Wild.
Which was also available on the previous console.
Super Mario World. I mean, this is going back.
Say, I'm spotting a trend here, James.
It's going way back.
No, but you've also got more
Granny's
recently.
Garden.
No, you've also got Wii Sports. You've also got Halo, for example.
Yeah, but Wii Sports is different though. Wii Sports, the excitement by that was down to
the new way to play. It wasn't
the uniqueness of the hardware.
Yeah, but exactly. But it was still like a big deal, wasn't it? That this was there.
What was it? What did they have for PS4? Let's take their last generation as an example.
Sony's ones have never been great, but other consoles have. Like there has been good launch titles before that have come out with machines.
Of course. I'm not saying there's never been launch.
Yeah, there's always been like
titles.
one good launch title, and then just a load of shit that you wouldn't look at twice if it wasn't a launch title.
Well, to be fair, if it was an amazing launch title, then fair enough. But what have Sony got to unleash at this point?
I mean, the big rumour.
Go on.
The big rumour obviously is Horizon Zero Dawn 2. That was a rumour.
Okay, but do you think that's big enough to be that?
Absolutely,
must buy?
Definitely, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2. You got that as well. That was a very well regarded game. Yeah, that came out.
I can't say it for launch, but
these are very well regarded games, but they're not Mario, are they? Which are two of the amazing system sellers.
Nothing is Mario.
Who does have Mario though? And it's
that's my point, isn't it? So if their hope is that they bring out an absolute must-have game for the PS5, then what have they got to release? Unless it's a new IP that looks totally different, and like for example, forget how this game ended up, but like when Watch Dogs showed off that first trailer. Mm-hmm. Literally everyone was going nuts, right? Okay, it didn't turn out to be the game it was, but they need a reaction like that. They don't need it. That's bullshit. This is all little elements that all add up to a successful launch. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's so exciting to see what what these two companies are going to do. Everything from the price of their new consoles to the marketing to, how it pans out over the next 5 years. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and it's going to be a sort of landmark generation.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other aspects is, because this was the next news story, was that Microsoft have been detailing more about their the backwards compatibility stuff and how they're going to add HDR and 120 frames per second support to older games as well. Which is, that's amazing as well. That's going to happen.
So as we all know, I'm somewhat of an expert on the implementation of HDR.
Here we go. Yeah.
Don't you dare.
Tell us
Sean.
about the reconstruction technique, Sean.
All I'm saying is, you can't just add it like that unless devs are actually going in and tweaking.
They built something to do that.
Because
apparently Jason Ronald, who's the director of program management, stated that they can just do that and it works. So,
I'm more likely to believe him than Sean Bell.
No, but it's so it'll be
in a week saying.
Ironically enough, it'll be using the Red Dead method, where it's just basically guessing. Unless you implement it properly, it'll just be taking the standard brightness values and just sort of roughly equating that to an HDR value for each pixel.
And as Sean's always said, if you buy the HDR cables with gold on the ends, they
cost
better,
about 120
right,
quid, but they're worth every penny.
I know, because stuff will look fucking tremendous.
It's
It will.
Especially it sounds like night. Right, okay, let's get to the next news story, please.
Okay, so this is a quick one. Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a sequel. Yeah, there's going to be. Yeah, there's no. Well, no, there's a bit.
Sonic 2?
I would say there's more detail, but there's not really. There's no news on casting. The original film's director and the writers are coming back, so that's good. But then nothing else. The first game was
Jimmy Boy involved, as he said?
It hasn't said. Yeah, we don't know.
Right, okay, well, look, anyone that's seen that film knows that it was set up for a sequel, and also knows that it could quite happily that a sequel could quite happily come out. And it was well done, that first one. Nothing spectacular, but it wasn't shit like everyone expected it to be. So I'd quite happily sit for a second one of
Definitely.
those.
And I think the post-credit scene, I was like, come on, I can't wait for the next one.
I hope they do another trailer and it's the original design again.
Oh god, yes. They should do that.
They should do that.
That would be unbelievable.
What they should have done with the Blu-ray that came out, they should have had it as an option to be able to use the original art. To see what it was like.
Just flick between the two, like with Halo Champion, like the Halo Anniversary Edition.
So, do you want teeth or no teeth? Okay, this is the last news story. In fact, would you like a Google Stadia story?
Always.
No, let's move on.
Oh, you're getting one. So anyway, what's happened here is this is Take-Two's CEO has been talking about Google Stadia. And so this is Strauss Zelnick. He said that Google Stadia overpromised on its technology and didn't seem to expand the market like it had hoped. This is the quote, because he said here, anytime you broaden distribution, you potentially broaden your audience, which is why we supported the release of Stadia with 3 titles initially and will continue to support high-quality streaming services as long as this business model makes sense. Over time, I believe streaming will work. The belief that streaming was going to be a transformative was based on a view that there were loads of people who really had an interest in interactive entertainment and really wanted to pay for it, but just didn't want to have a console. I'm not sure that turned out to be the case. And so he's basically saying that it's not the game changer that he hoped it was going to be, or that it was going to be a big deal. So there you go.
Fair dues.
Matt,
I agree, yep.
Can someone go through? It's something that I wish I had the time to do. Going through all our podcasts and just taking out little quotes of Matt's thoughts on Stadia over the past 2 years. That would be brilliant.
I think basically I said I'm excited to see it. If it hasn't turned out that way.
Okay, was it that's sedated? Was it? Okay, fine, sure. It's the future of gaming, you called it.
They say it in this piece, didn't they?
Okay.
No. They kind of said it's the opposite of that, but yeah.
Right, okay. Should we move on to what we've been playing?
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, I'll kick us off this week. I've been playing a little game called Diablo 3.
You what?
Nice, okay.
So,
is this a fucking wind-up?
who saw that coming?
Oh, the nerd.
None of you.
The nerd in the corner.
See, right, can I just ask, have any of you played this?
I haven't actually, no.
You've not played it, Sean?
No.
Right, okay.
I gather I would like it.
Honestly, I was playing it and thinking, Bungie need to play this because they could sue them pretty, but Diablo 3 nicks a lot from Destiny. It's unbelievable.
Oh, it might be the other way around, mate.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Sorry.
I just wanted everyone to go nuts with it. I want to see if anyone pauses it at that point and tweets me abuse, and then hits play again. I'm joking, of course. No, I'll be honest with you. I've played it for 45 minutes because John said, "Should we try Diablo 3?" And I was like, yeah, why not, I guess. So we played that. That is not a game that it's totally different to what I thought it was. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. So on the PC, when you play this, do you just click on enemies and the character goes over and does the actions?
Pretty much. I mean, that's probably an oversimplification, but there's a lot of that, yeah.
Right, okay. Because I'm playing on Xbox One, and it's like, it's you control the character, and then you press A to attack, and then you build up your other attacks and stuff like that. People that are interested in me talking about Diablo 3 know this stuff anyway, so I'm not going into the specifics about it. The story is completely over my head. The voice acting is absolutely terrible, but I understand the appeal. It is go in, smash things, get loot, build up your character. But there's a specific reason why I've been playing this game, other than John texting me and saying let's play it, and it's because I've put a lot more time into another game which Matt has on his list, Minecraft Dungeons, which now this come out this week, Matt, did it?
Yeah, it came out on Tuesday last week actually. Right,
so it's a brand new game.
Yeah.
Right, okay, gotcha. So you've been playing it this week. James, have you touched this?
I've not touched it. No, it's on Game Pass, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is on Game Pass, yeah.
My son, Asher, saw it on a advert thing, and he was like, "I want to play that," and I was like, "Okay, not sure," but yeah.
Why? Why is that? Why are you not sure?
I've heard really mixed things about it because I've heard people saying it's not great because they said it's too simplistic and not really that great.
I mean, it depends what you mean. If this is, okay, so I've been playing it exclusively in co-op with Harry. Basically,
are you playing on Switch or playing on Xbox?
I'm playing. Well, it's I didn't buy it. I didn't Game Pass, so we're playing on Xbox.
Okay, cool. It's also on PS4 and Switch as well, isn't it? So
yeah.
Oh, it is on PS4. I didn't. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's on every.
I didn't know that. Anyway, yes, it is very simplistic, James. And when going into Diablo and trying that out, because I'd heard that they're very similar games, and I thought, okay, well, let's try Diablo out and just try and get a sense of the differences and what they've tried to take from that game and use in this sort of more simplified style. Now, is this would you describe this genre as action RPG, Sean?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Well,
right, okay. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. It's. I mean, I suppose hack and slash RPG is probably a better term.
I thought people were talking as like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, all that.
Again, I haven't played a Diablo game, and that's why I wanted to play after this, actually. But I was...
Yeah, and I apologise. There's people that are going to be... Yeah. There's people that are going to be mad at me now because we're not too clued up on this genre. And, it is one of those sort of areas of gaming that I have absolutely no idea about. And I know, Sean, you haven't played Diablo, and I assume you don't know much about that style of game either, right?
I mean, yeah, I've never got into them. Just because I've heard it's a lot of clicking, which obviously in the case of Diablo 3 with a controller is a lot better. But yeah, it's that sort of, the actual physical act of playing it is not particularly engaging, but it's all about the compelling loot and stuff, isn't it? And building your character up. And
yeah, I mean, it's got that Destiny loop, right? Yeah. Where you go in, you just kill lots of things, and then you get a prize. You're constantly given prizes throughout the level, and then you're given a prize at the end of it, and then you go back to a place and you level up and you buy things, and then you go out again. Now, why I originally started talking about this is that I went and played Diablo, and the problem that I had with that is that every single element in that game seems to have so much depth to it, which I am sure for people that are way into these games is just wonderful, right? So every sort of armor and weapon and stuff, there are various different ways of upgrading them, and it just, for me, who was just going in to try it out, it was completely baffling. with Minecraft Dungeons, they very, very cleverly stripped all of that. And I say cleverly because they're clearly going for a different audience here.
Yeah.
So the people that are saying it's oversimplistic, I think, are just not in their target audience.
I know, but you see, the reason I say that is that the people that I've seen complaining about it are huge Minecraft fans. And the thing of it is that Minecraft is a really complex game. Like, it can be there's a lot of like systems, a lot of mechanics in that kids that are very young kids really enjoy it. Like, my son plays Minecraft for hours and hours and hours and creates amazing stuff in that game. And that's why, like, those people are the people that are saying that they weren't so happy with this because they were expecting more depth, you see.
Yes, like, but the focus is two different things, right? So the focus with Minecraft is about, if you add these elements together, you can create this. It's about building. It's about combining elements together, right? Whereas these sort of games, it's more about leveling up, using the right gear management, using cooldown managements and stuff like that. It's a different sort of discipline. And I think if they were going for a younger audience, yes, they could be clued up on Minecraft, but it's such a different style of play with different disciplines that you need to get through it. The levels of what you have to scale back are different for the two different types of game, in my opinion. Like, so Harry's played Minecraft a fair bit. He's played it for a few hours. I wouldn't say like he's got into it massively, but he's put a fair few hours into it, and he can do things in it, and it's fine, and it puts it together. If I was to stick him with Minecraft Dungeons with the level of depth of Diablo, he wouldn't understand a fucking thing. However, half an hour into playing Minecraft Dungeons, he was blowing my mind with how much he got. Like, he knew what... Like, so when you get drops, there are certain drops that both of us can pick up. There are only drops that I can pick up and only drops that he can pick up. He understood that before I did. He said, no, you can't pick that up. That's mine. You pick that one up. And I was like, okay. Then he was putting his armour on, and it was very clearly, this armour's better than this one. If I go into this, I can upgrade it in these various different ways. And he understood the elements. He's 6. You know what I mean? And it was really exciting. And there are other things that I had to explain to him. I had to say, look, reserve your ammo, because these are just little guys that you can just pick off, but later on you want to fire arrows at some of the guys that you need a bit of space between you. Don't just rush in and use all your special abilities straight away. Wait until the bigger guys come up and then use them. This is a health item, so only really use them if we're under attack. There are certain elements that I'm teaching him, but there are other elements that I thought would be way out of his realm of comprehension that he has just picked up like that. So in my opinion, I think it's doing a very good job. And I'm talking specifically for a 6-year-old. So if the target audience was for 10, maybe it is too simplistic. But in this house, it's been a fascinating way of teaching Harry basic elements of video game RPG without overloading him and him not understanding, if you know what I mean. I mean, the gameplay is very simple. You walk in, there are different enemy types, you treat them, you kill them in different ways. Like, you've got to manage mobs, you've got to manage your cooldowns. It's all about picking the right cooldowns, making your build, and making sure, like, there are certain special abilities that I absolutely adore and ones that I will never use. So it's about making sure that you're leveling up constantly in the abilities that you like using. We've been caught out a couple of times where we've gone into an area that's clearly over level for us, and that's been a bit frustrating. The other thing that I've needed to teach Harry, and this is mental, when you're playing couch co-op, there are some things that could be improved. So obviously a good element, a big part of this game is that you're swapping gear and swapping weapons and leveling stuff up, right? Problem is you have to do that one at a time. So you press up on the D-pad to sort your character out, but it takes up the whole screen. So he does all his bits that he wants to do, and then he closes it down. Then I go into that menu and do it for me. And I just kind of thought, actually, you could have split screen this so that we could both do this stuff at the same time, so one of us is not getting bored. But then on the flip side, in this very specific case that I'm in playing this game, Harry's learnt a lot about what to do by watching me do my menu stuff. So, maybe that's not such a bad idea. Well, no, it is a terrible idea. That's just a consequence of what's happened. But I tell you what is annoying. Harry sees a cool weapon on the floor. He picks it up. He goes straight into that menu. And the problem is the game doesn't pause. It carries on, and you see my character's like health just going down, and I'm like, get out of the fucking menu, Harry, for fuck's sake, we're getting killed.
That would annoy the piss out of me.
It annoys the piss out of me, sure. I have managed to tell him, look, only do it when it's quiet, but and he's got a little bit better with it. But honestly, really wasn't expecting. I didn't even know this game was coming out this week. We have had an absolute blast with it.
Cool.
As I say, people that like this genre will laugh at how simplistic it is, no doubt, based on what I've played of Diablo, which, I'll be honest, I quite enjoyed just running around smashing things as well. I didn't dislike my time with Diablo, other than the cutscenes and the story and the voice acting and stuff like that. That's because it's not to my taste. What has blown me away about this game is just how accessible it is and how fun it is, just watching Harry come to grips with the concepts of the game and the mechanics of the game, and B, just running around with him beating stuff up. It's been great fun.
You've totally convinced
really
me.
Fun.
I'm going to try this with Asher.
Yeah, you should sit down with him and give it a go.
Yeah.
It's don't expect much. You'll go into it, and you've got to give it a few levels to find the special abilities you like, because honestly it feels like you're walking around and tapping A. But then you're a fan of Streets of Rage, so it's pretty similar. But then you'll find like a power up that you really like, and you think, hold on, if I use this at the right time, then I can actually, like, Harry's in trouble over there, so I eat like a death mushroom, and it gives me like a 5-second power boost. So I just chomp one of them, run over, just smash everyone around him or whatever, and yeah, it's good, man. It's not something that I would recommend to everyone. But if you've got a young child in the house who you think could benefit from learning from some more complicated systems in video games, then this is a great entry-level game to show them.
It's also, I'm just thinking, he just loves all things Minecraft at the moment. I think he'd just like to be in that kind of environment. I think
this is the other thing. That. Harry, as I say, Harry's put a few hours into Minecraft, but he said to me, he was loading it up, he went, I know all the enemy names, Dad. I was like, well, how? I just know them. That's Creeper, that's such and such. Yeah. And I'm going, how do you know that? Because, in a weird way, it's sort of a cult thing, isn't it? Like,
it's funny because, like, when they announced this, I was a bit like, like, I really like Minecraft, but I'm not like, put like that world and those characters in other games. Like, I'm not that in love with the way it looks or the monsters or whatever.
No.
But yeah, as you say, it's that framework for people who've maybe not played something like this before. They're just like, oh yeah, no, I know this. Like,
yeah, but that's it, isn't it? I mean, the look is the result of what the original game is trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I guarantee they didn't go out wanting it to look like that. I mean,
but
I'm
it was
sure
just a necessity
of
the game they were trying to make in terms of the systems, and the look of it just came out as a result of that. Yeah,
and I mean, I'm sure they made it. They did some very clever design work on that game. I'm not like putting it down. What I'm saying is that, if they could have made that game look absolutely stunning with the same mechanics, then I'm pretty sure they would have done. But yeah, I mean, because they associate it so much with that craze, that it's that instant appeal, isn't it?
Yeah, because like like playing Minecraft, I like putting like shaders on and stuff, but I don't really fuck with the textures and that, because it's, when people are like, oh, let's make Minecraft look fucking real. It's like, no, like it's sort of, it does look kind of bad, but to try and make it look super realistic, but with everything made out of massive blocks, just looks weird to me. Like when they showed off the RTX demo for Minecraft, I was like, it does look nice, but it's sort of, I don't know, it starts becoming this weird clash between it being realistic and massively video gaming. But
yeah. So, Matt, how far into it are you?
I've done like the fourth level, the fourth area, whatever it was.
Okay.
I think this looks really nice. I mean, graphically, like the lighting is gorgeous in some parts. We see like lighting coming through like stained glass windows and stuff. It's got that same style, but I think it's really nice looking. It's a really nice looking little game, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. So
have you played games like this before?
No, and I was excited for this game only because I think I saw some like fairly positive reviews, and actually I thought I'd be playing it for last week's show, and I realised actually it's not out till Tuesday. So no, I haven't played a game, haven't played a Diablo game, haven't played anything like this. And yes, this is very simplistic, but I've been really, really enjoying it, and this really makes me want to try Diablo 3 or I know Forza not out yet, but I've enjoyed this enough that I would like to see what a more complicated style of game, or a more complicated version in this style would be like. I like in this, it's simplistic, but it's fun. Like the loop is compelling. It's enjoyable. Seeing those different enemies, how you gonna tackle them, when you need to pull back and wait for the cooldowns, so on and so forth. I've only been playing on my own. I know you can do online with friends. You can't do online with randoms. And so I've just been playing on my own, playing offline games, but that's fun enough. I'm sure it'd be even better with like a few mates playing it.
I was going to say we should try and get a game together.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean,
how many player is it online?
I think up to 4, isn't it?
Okay.
They have. It's not cross-platform yet, but they said they are working on it. So yeah, not cross-platform with PS4, PC, and Switch and Xbox, but it's coming hopefully. But no, I like the way it looks. I think the music's fantastic. I think in terms of it being Minecraft, I mean, obviously this has like a unique story, and it's got the
story's weird for Minecraft, isn't it? Do you think?
I mean, basically, the story is bad person, bad illager, I think they're called, take something and you have to go and get it back. It's like, so it's a very basic story, but like
deep shit.
I don't know, like in terms of it doesn't have to be Minecraft at all. Like I guess that's a big way to pull a lot of people in. And it's like it feels like this is a new franchise. I can easily see them doing sequels and whatnot. But in terms of it being Minecraft, like there's no crafting in it, which is pretty mad. But it looks nice, and I guess it's like a way to draw people in and so on and so forth, and it's recognisable enemies. But no,
to be fair, I think they've moved away from that anyway, haven't they? They've done that in the past. You've got Minecraft story mode and stuff like that, which Harry's had a little go at on Netflix.
Oh yeah, because it's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does that work all right? Yeah,
surprisingly well. Yeah, surprisingly well.
Cool.
I mean, I didn't get into it that much, I must admit, and I had that. I'd forgotten to talk to you about this. Like Harry was taking the really, the moral choice ones. He was taking the really bad options. it was like there was one where something gets stolen and then you find it in a shop, and it's like explain to a shopkeeper it's yours, or discuss offering some sort of reward to the shopkeeper, or threaten him with a sword to get it back. And Harry was like, threaten him?
Sword.
And I was like, whoa, I mean, do you want to think about that? No, he's got my thing. I'm going to threaten him. I was like, okay. I
always remember when I was a kid and we got our first PC and we had a demo for Little Big Adventure 2, which I don't know if any of you played those games, but they were like there was like some fighting in them, but they were they were kind of point and click adventure games, but they weren't point and click. You had like direct control over your character, but it was a lot of like just walking around, talking to people, and solving puzzles and stuff. But I'd never played anything like that before, so I just went around beating the fuck out of everyone because I didn't know how else to interact with the characters in a game, because I'd never played like a story based thing before. So yeah, I remember my dad just being like, "Why are you just fighting everyone? What the hell?" Like, but yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it just shows the moral choice thing isn't really. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, Matt, I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying it as well, because there was part of me thinking, how much of this is just me sitting here with Harry and enjoying it, rather than actually being good. It's a pretty enjoyable game.
It's just fun. It's very basic, and even if someone hasn't played this before, I can see it's very basic, but it's still fun. It's still enjoyable to play. I don't know how much I'm gonna really be compelled to keep going through all levels. I mean, it's fun seeing like new loot through the level and upgrading stuff, but I'm not really getting like a real feeling of, oh, amazing, I got that now, I can do this. It's just I was gonna say the numbers are going up, but there's no real emotion behind it.
I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely.
How far are you into it? How many levels have you done? Or areas have you done?
5 or 6. What is it? There's not that many. It's quite a short game, apparently.
You might find it just brings you back to the start, but everything's leveled up again. That's usually the
that's
move.
exactly what I'm kind of expecting.
Yeah.
That it's about, in a way, I think the closest thing that I can compare it to, other than Destiny, is when I got into Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first played Phantasy Star Online, I was like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
What why are we playing this one level over and over? And then you realise that actually that's part of it.
Yeah.
And it feels like that this is a similar thing. So, I mean, I'm fully prepared to do that as long as Harry is, Harry's excited about getting new gear and doing stuff. And I must admit, Matt, I'm not agreeing with you. I have found some of the special abilities to be extremely fun to tinker around with, and then finding one of the abilities that I like that's more leveled up than what I've got is like, great, I can still keep to my same tactic here, but it's going to be way more powerful now. I love that stuff.
I mean, it's cool seeing numbers go up, but I'm not like... I mean, I hopefully that will come with me playing it more. I do enjoy the fact that like the levels are designed for you to explore. Like there is this like yellow marker which basically says go this way, but if you go off the beaten path and you
way more to the levels,
you are rewarded with like chests and areas and like these like green gem
I'm sort of
things.
assuming that's mainly because if you go in a second time, there'll be different routes through that level. I'm assuming that's what.
I see. Yeah.
Right,
so that you're not just doing the same level again. There's actually various different routes that it takes you through.
Yeah, but it's good that you are rewarded by getting loot and money and other things to upgrade your gear if you go off the beaten path. And I'm enjoying it so far. It's a surprise, but this really, like I said, really makes me want to try a Diablo game. So maybe
give it a go.
I said to you actually over the weekend. I think maybe I've got it, but I tried today and I don't have it. So
it might be worth Matt because you're quite into Marvel stuff, right? Or the films?
No.
Anyway. Oh, you're not? I thought you were. Oh, fuck you.
I mean, I've seen some of the. I've seen the film. I've seen, some of the films, but no, I'm not really into
fair
it.
Enough.
Well, why?
No, I was just going to say Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Switch. Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch is apparently pretty good.
Is that one of these games as well? Okay.
Yeah, because I played.
I think I might have played one of them.
Yeah, you might have back in the day. There's 1 and 2 were on like the PS2, I think.
I think I might have played it on PC.
Okay, maybe.
Oh, nerd.
Was it available on PC?
Possibly. Don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. There was a Marvel game that I played a bit. I don't know. Who knows?
But yeah,
Who cares?
they were a similar deal, but there was like dozens of Marvel characters to choose from and stuff, and yeah, they were a good laugh.
Sorry, James, you've been trying to say something.
Sorry, James. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say the whole thing with dungeon crawlers is the fact that you're supposed to go back like repeatedly and try and pick up gear and all that kind of stuff. That's the whole thing. And that was one of the other small complaints that I heard about this game was that it didn't feel very compelling to do that. But again, it probably depends on who's playing it, and how if it's your first experience with something like this, then probably you'll get more mileage out of it. So,
this is it. I think when you're listening to the positive stuff that I'm saying, you've noticed that I've talked about Harry a lot. And I think that is important to note that I'm playing under a very specific circumstance, and that has been the major part of my enjoyment of the game. So
I'll tell you what, David, I'm downloading it right now. And I'm downloading the Switch version because it was £15, which is not too bad. Because
but the Xbox One's no quid.
Have you not got Game Pass?
Yes, I've got Game Pass, but I've only got one Xbox controller.
Okay.
So
but you've got us, James.
Yeah, I want to play it with my son. Sorry.
Yeah,
can't believe.
I want to play this child.
Are you saying your son's more important than us, James?
All right. Okay. Cool. That's all I've got. Matt, did you have anything else to add?
I'm still going through Resident Evil 3. It's still fun. I've been playing it. I don't know why, but I downloaded Forza Street.
Oh, is this the?
I downloaded that and deleted it before I'd even played it.
What, did you not even have one race?
No, I don't know why I did it. I did the same with there was another racing game that I looked at my phone and went, why did I download that? I'm doing that a lot recently.
Did you download the Asphalt game that Shaw mentioned? Is that the one?
I think it might have been. I think what it is that I think, I'll give that a go. So I download it. It takes a little while, and usually I click on it like to open it up, and it goes, and now we need to download some more.
Oh, yeah.
And by that point, I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I'm like, another time, and I don't go back to it.
Yeah.
But I saw this because it was on Microsoft Rewards dashboard on the Xbox. It's like, get an achievement in this. I'm like, okay, bloody, I will download it. Actually, it turns out I had already downloaded it previously and deleted it. So yeah, I was the same as you. So it's not really a Forza game. It's a racing. It's like a mobile racing game. They slapped Forza IP on it. I don't quite know why. You don't even properly race. So the races are at the start of the race, you know, it's like 3, 2, 1, and you're like revving the engine, and there's like, if you get it in the green, you get like a boost for a start. You don't accelerate, and you don't,
and then it fades to black and goes level 2.
Basically, you don't. You hold down the accelerator on the right hand side of the screen, the pedal on the screen. You don't brake. You basically hold that down. But what you do is you let that go at certain parts of the corner. So the corners will come up. You don't turn at any point. You just hold it down for the straights. And then when the corners come up, there's like the like red part of the corner, yellow part of the corner, and you need to basically let go at this certain part of the yellow part of the corner, and you get like good gas or good braking. You do it for like the start of the corner and the apex of the turn, and you do that for 3 or 4 times, and then the race is over. But for some reason, I'm still playing it. I don't quite know why. There's like a mini career mode, and you go through, and it's like different people to race against. You get different cars to upgrade. But yeah, and like when you go against like more difficult races to race, it really is about you've got to get the best start rather than too much gas or whatever, and then you have to have like perfect brake and perfect gas like in the in and the out of every corner. I don't quite know why I'm playing it, but I still am. It's very basic. I mean, I've never really known a racing game where you just, like most have, you know, auto brake, auto this, auto that, but you literally it's just a game where you stop accelerating in corners. That's it.
Well, this is a thing. Because CSR racing, I forget what that stands for, but that's been a big one for a while. I've just had a look on the Play Store. The first CSR game has 50 million plus downloads on the Play Store.
Wow.
And that was a similar deal, but it was changing gears. It was basically that scene in Peep Show where Mark's doing the gears for his boss. So you'd just be driving and be like, second gear, third gear, and you're just there, just switching up and down gears. And that was it. That was all you actually did in the races. And that's fucking huge. So this is a thing. Mobile racing games, we don't really do the racing.
I guess, again, like Minecraft Dungeons, they're like, let's just slap one of our IPs on it, and that will get enough people through the door rather than just here's a random racing game. It's kind of, I mean, the Forza games were amazing on console, so I think it's a silly really to dilute the brand by adding this name to the game. But you know, it's fun enough. It's very like mobile game. It's like it's constantly saying buy this, 75% off that, blah blah blah. But it hasn't like limited me. It hasn't like stopped me playing. It doesn't say come back in 45 minutes. I've amassed enough like points to buy things to keep the game going. So yeah, no. I mean, I don't know if I'll play much more, but I wanted to give it a go. It's interesting they've put the Forza IP on it, but it feels like a waste.
Because who actually made it? Do we know?
I don't know. I think I might have seen Turn 10 actually on the credits, but
all right.
Because it does say Xbox Game Studios, but again, I'm not sure if that's just because it's an Xbox Game Studios IP.
Right, yeah.
And Animal Crossing, and that's basically all I've been playing.
Animal Crossing. We got a big day in Animal Crossing tomorrow.
What is
Harry
it?
is very excited.
Tom's birthday?
Jo has decided that she will be joining the island.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
I don't know why she said this, but Harry is like, he's been talking about it all week. It's this huge day. Even tonight, I said, go to bed or whatever. And he says, he went away. He went, big day tomorrow. Like, what? Mum's coming to the island.
She's finally been grinded down. And she's like, yeah, go on, I will go on your island because I imagine.
Here's my question. I know you guys might not know this, but I'll ask just in case. Tweet me if you do know. If she does give up, like after 2 days, is there a way of like dismantling her tent, or is it just going to be there forever? Answers
That's
on
a
postcard
good
at
question.
TCGS Co. Because if she just has the tent and then the tent stays there forever, it's just going to do my nutting.
I mean, it will do until I guess delete the. Yeah, how will you delete?
I don't know. Yeah, because
Exactly.
if you've got multiple people on the island, is there an option to just be like, I want to leave, like get rid of my house, don't let me play again?
There must be.
And if you do that, what happens if you like leave and then suddenly end up on like James's island because he's stolen you?
Elodie was desperate that Jill would play, and then she, you get letters from Mom.
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh my god, I got a letter from Mum." So no. It's not. No, it's not your mum. This is Mom.
This is Mum now.
Yeah. And then she's constantly saying she's trying to also get Jill to play, but no, it's not going to happen.
I've just checked.
Go on.
And yeah, you can remove somebody, and their tent will disappear. Yeah,
excellent. Thank God for that. Right, I still think that this might be the one. This might be the one. There's so many people that hate video games that play this and fall in love with it. Yeah. That this might be the one, but we'll find out. Also, I will say that the Halves Island stuff is absolute shite.
I've not even tried it.
It always has been, though, isn't it? It's always been rubbish, isn't it?
The lack of effort involved. 3 items to decorate. Fucking hell. Anyway, okay, they don't even all show up. I was expecting that. Oh, I've put loads of benches out. I mean, sorry if this is a spoiler. But trust me.
It's the wedding. Is it a wedding thing, right? I heard there was a wedding event. See, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off the show. Fucking...
Okay. Also, one thing, if I was Tom Nook, I think... Is it Isabel?
The money you got.
It's Isabel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she should be furloughed. Because every day it's like, no news. So what are you even doing?
Here's another bad joke about my telly watching
I've
habits.
only ever talked to Isabel to say what's the rating of the island. It's 5-star or it's 4-star, whatever. I've never done any other options. There's never any news. Like, she's got that drink. It's probably whiskey and coke on her desk. It's hard to say. It looks like it's I don't know. It's like
margarita.
There's no need. Tom Nook could do that. Like, there's no need for it.
It is weird that they went, oh no. Whenever you log in, Isabel talks to you and she just says the same thing over and over again.
It's like,
well, why didn't we write more lines? Oh, because we were busy writing facts for every single item that you give to Blathers. Well, why don't we do less of those facts and more of the stuff that you're likely to see more often? No, let's keep the facts.
What always gets me about the writing in that game is, and they must have done this on purpose, because, it's sometimes genuinely quite funny, especially some of the villages. But then the shit jokes when you when you go fishing, and never mind the fact that you'll see each one of them.
Like a C+.
Exactly. Never mind the fact that you'll see each one of them about 50 fucking times. Even the first time, you're just like, they're like fucking, Christmas cracker
bad puns,
aren't they? Yeah, really terrible. But like I say, they must have done that on purpose, because they've proven they can be quite funny elsewhere. So weird choice.
And also, I have been in a situation where I've got 2 sport characters, not high end sport characters, and they say a lot of the same things.
Oh god, me too. I've got to get rid of one. They're both like, hey,
don't get rid of any more, please, Matt. Because one of your casts off turned up on my island.
That's not my fault. Yeah, that's why I got rid of him. But now I've got 2 people who say, "Oh, that means good morning in Italian." It's like, I know, I've literally spoke to someone 2 seconds ago, said the same thing, mate. Oh yeah.
Also, I didn't know that eventually, if they get really friendly with you, they give you the say, "Do you want me to change my motto?"
Yeah.
And because Harry's friendly with everyone on that island, and for some reason he's got them all just saying H at the end of everything.
I mean, that is a waste.
I don't know why.
That is a waste.
I said, was that a mistake? Did you? He said, no. I just like it when they say H at the end of everything.
Incredible.
So now I'm going around talking to the villagers, and it's like, hey, isn't it a lovely day here on Bajkowski? H! It's like, all right, okay.
The worst thing is that the H is silent, so it's really awkward.
Exactly. It just sounds like they're breathing out over me.
Yeah, but I just can't believe, they knew people were hearing Isabel every day. Scrap it, or I don't what's the point?
Yeah, it's absolutely redundant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally redundant. It's like, no news again. We get it.
I'm trying to remember, why did we write this off for the Game of the Year show last week?
No, I mean, anyway. it's obviously it's great, but it's like, fucking hell, sort it out.
I know, this is breaking James's heart. So let's hand over to James.
James, what do you think about Isabel every day saying there's no news?
Look, we'll talk about this at the Game of the Year show.
This isn't a Game of the Year thing. Just tell me about his situation. Surely you can't think that's great.
No, of course I don't. I would agree that a lot of the dialogue is irritating. Like with repeated dialogue is particularly irritating. Like
There's
why you
another
can't
point.
skip stuff. It's that is annoying. Yeah,
It's a shit game for
But
content.
but you got to remember that James has very strong feelings towards Isabel, so he's not going to lay into it like we are.
Fuck off.
He's not going to
Well,
join.
even
I
now,
was
even now,
looking
like,
through our
surely
bloody.
even now she's boring you.
I was looking through the media in the TCGS WhatsApp group the other day because I was trying to find something and I forgot there was some fan art in there.
Oh yeah, I
Fucking hell.
posted about 12 deviant art pictures of Isabel. James, come on, what you been playing this week?
I've been playing Animal Crossing as well. I mean, I bought some. Well, okay, Chen bought some of the cards. You know, like the Amiibo cards to get new people. That was a bust, wasn't it? I ended up with a load of rubbish, and it was really annoying. I got duplicates, but then also duplicates of ones that you can't even invite anyway because they're like main ones. You know, like on the island or whatever. So that was irritating.
Right, they're actual shop people and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't invite them anyway. So that's a waste of time. And
Why
the
don't
rest
you
of
get
them,
one of those hooky ones that you just put your own code into?
can you get those?
Have you not heard of these? They're like
No.
they're cards with the readers in them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't know how you do it. Maybe with an Android device or something. And you can just literally code in what you want that Amiibo card to be.
I don't know. That sounds a bit. I don't know. I don't want to do that because it just.
You're going to say it sounds a bit Matt.
Yeah.
But James, that's no different to buying these cards in the first place, is it?
Of course,
I mean,
it
the whole
is. With
idea
that,
is that
you're
you might
guaranteeing
discover
what you're going to
the-
get. With this, there's like an element of chance that you might get something. I don't know.
it's a gambling matter.
This doesn't make any sense. Okay, and I
James,
don't want to talk
James,
about it.
James, spend £50 on packs and do like a pack opening YouTube video.
Oh yes.
Like, oh my god, I can't believe I got it, bro. Can't believe I got it.
sincerely love
It's
that.
rare.
That would be well funny, actually.
It's
Yeah,
a walkout.
Please do it. Please do it.
Go on.
It could be
What
one
else?
of those ones. Yeah, okay, I'll stop. So the only other thing I've played this week is The Witcher 3, which I'm not going to talk about in detail because obviously I've talked about it a lot. But I've been playing it on the PS4 instead because I took the advice of whoever it was. Like somebody wrote in, didn't they, and said like you can do the what's called the DLC ones. You can start just from scratch anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like just from the menu, and it was on sale on PSN. So I thought, okay, I'm going to download that. And yeah, I really do wish I'd played the entire game this way because
But you wouldn't have had that massive reaction to it, like when you see the graphics in when you see the graphics like change, you wouldn't have had that massive. You've been playing that muddy version of it for so long.
Yeah,
that reaction must have been huge because you've got a pro, right?
Yeah, I've got a pro, and it's
That must have been crazy.
And it just looks incredible. Like, I mean, as I said before, the Switch version looks like you just smeared loads of Vaseline all over the screen, and it looks bad. And then also, but performance isn't great either. Like, you know, it's totally playable. It's like absolutely playable. But then when you play it on like a proper console, I'm going to say, like for this, it's completely different. Like even the feeling of the combat is different. Like it just feels much more satisfying to play. So I'm enjoying that.
There you go.
It's
That's
really
a
good.
bonus because I don't think anyone likes the combat. So
This
is fucking
that's the
great.
thing. If you play the combat on the Switch version, if you then play the PS4 version, it seems significantly better.
Okay.
Like afterwards, so it's a big step up. So
What though? What? Like, hold on. Why is that different? Is it literally? It's probably the frame rate, right? It can't be the controls.
It's the frame rate. It's absolutely the frame rate is the reason, and it's obviously a lot more solid in the PS4 version than it is in the Switch one. And,
I know I keep saying this every time it comes up. I need to play Blood and Wine because I've done about half of it, and it's great. And I don't know why it stopped, but it's been. You know, it's one of those. It's quite daunting to go back because I've forgotten everything, how everything works. But yeah, needs to happen. So what have you done in terms of the expansions now then?
Well, I've done the first one.
Oh, right, okay.
That one I played like a while ago, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I played that on the Switch. That was
Right.
the last one I played on the Switch. And then the one I've just started is Blood and Wine.
Cool.
And I mean, I've played it. The beginning of it, I've played twice because I started it on the Switch, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to play it on this instead. So I went through everything again, and it's just stunning the difference. And but the new environment for that is looks so good, especially like as I'm seeing it now. It's just. But the thing is, I mean. I don't really regret it.
Are you playing it now, James?
Yeah,
No, I'm playing right now.
Rumbled.
But
As I'm sitting here looking, as I'm talking
as I
to
press
you.
X and do fire and use the axe.
But the thing is I don't really regret playing it on the Switch as such, because if I hadn't have done, I'm not sure if I'd have like put in so many hours to it.
No,
Do you
that's
know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
It's
I
convenience
was going to bring that
aspect.
up, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like a chicken and egg thing. It's not like
Yeah.
a chicken and egg thing. But you know
Isn't that the name of the DLC?
what came first, the Witcher or the Switch? You probably wouldn't have played it for as long as you did had it been on one of the main consoles. So, although you wish you played it on the one of the better consoles.
Well, yeah, and it's like I was saying,
you know what I mean?
saying the other week about Lonely Mountains Downhill. It's like, yeah, objectively, the Switch version is the worst, and yet I've put twice as many hours into it as I did
Yeah,
PC or Xbox version. So
it's easier to play.
Yep.
It's the convenience does trump everything, but it's it's good. So I will finish this definitely, because I'm thinking I'm going to finish this, and then the next thing is probably going to be The Last of Us 2 when that comes out. So excited about that. It's good. That's it. That's all I played.
Sean, you got anything for us?
I've played a very tiny bit of golf with your friends because I did.
Oh, great! I can't wait to hear your thoughts on
I
this.
did like 3 holes and was just like, I'm not enjoying this at
Oh,
all.
what? No, you got to do a full. Oh, Sean.
I just didn't. I didn't like the feel of it, the look of it. The music was annoying.
It's awful, isn't it? But you've got to play it with me. I'm up for a game with you. Just let's do a full 18. I played it with friend of the show, John Denton, the 5th member. I played it with John in the week, and I was gasping for air. I was laughing so hard because John is not a patient man when it comes to this sort of thing. And the rage, I could feel the smouldering down the headset as I watched him. Like, he was about 2 yards away from the hole and just completely misjudged the power bar, which is almost impossible
It's
to
fucking
understand.
hard to read, isn't it? It's just just didn't feel like
It's
I was
like
getting
the first quarter
God, sorry.
is like anywhere between 1 yard and 15 yards, and then the rest of the power bar is like Tiger Woods just driving for that reason. But the problem is there's so many holes that need you to put that much power into at the start that it's kind of like I could see why it's there.
Yeah.
It's just maybe the courses should have been thought about as a whole. Not a whole, as a collective rather than.
And it's just things like it's like the
weird.
third hole. There's that obstacle where it's like it's like the rotating barrel that's got like a hole in it, and it's there's no fucking way am I good enough to judge that yet. Like I've only just started playing the fucking. I don't know. Yeah, what was it?
You were playing the basic holes. The basic. You were playing the forest.
Yeah.
Did you do it in multiplayer though?
No. Just played on my own.
Right, no. Don't do it single player. You can't play that game single player. It's so depressing. You need to just join up with randoms and try against them because it's just funny. It's just funny. And it makes you feel like if you take 10 shots to get it in the hole, it makes you feel great because there's still like 3 people struggling to get around the first corner. So that cheers you up.
Jesus. What else? So I played a bit of Descenders.
Oh yeah,
Matt, you're on crack, mate. It's rubbish.
Oh, I liked it.
No, I mean it's got some really interesting ideas. Like I really liked the whole sort of roguelike structure. So each of the campaigns is because all the tracks are randomly generated, and then so to go through like a campaign is like you sort of picking. You're sort of going across a map, aren't you? Like picking different courses you can do, and each are randomly generated. And as you go through, you get extra members of your team, which sort of affect like the way the courses are generated and the characteristics of them and stuff. That's a really cool idea, but I didn't feel like it made enough of a difference. Like the random generation was a nice idea, but all the courses to me felt quite bland.
They're all very samey.
Yeah, it looks bad. Looks really bad. And I hated the music as well. And
I like the music.
Okay, fine. I don't know, man. The idea that this is better than Lonely Mountains Downhill is insane.
I mean, I like all the stunt stuff, and I thought the music was good, a good sense of speed.
I did not enjoy it. I'm playing Destiny 2 again.
Oh wow!
God help me.
Interesting.
Well, a couple of things happened this week. One, friend of the show, Cami Toman, suddenly announced he'd quite like to try it. More on that in a second. The other thing that happened is, I don't know if you guys have seen this, in our TCGS Discord, there is a music channel, and people have been doing this 30-day video game music challenge, which you might have seen people doing on Twitter. It's where it's like 30 days, and for each day there'll be like a theme. So it'll be like favourite RPG battle music, or favourite music from a first or third person shooter or whatever, right? Which normally people just do like on their own. But what we're doing in the Discord is every day people are like putting their suggestions in, and then there's like a vote on the best one by the end of the day. And it's just been quite fun, like putting together like this sort of best of list as we go. Anyway, yeah, so someone suggested, the music from the very first mission in Destiny 2 when you like booted out of the city and everything. And it's all a bit...
That was good music, wasn't it?
Fucking great. Man, like just hearing it again and being like, oh yeah, for like 10 minutes, I really cared about the story in Destiny. Like, and just what a great moment that was. So yeah, fuck it, I'm reinstalling Destiny. So I did, and
it was in the original game when the game launched. It was the first mission and the last mission where you cared about the story.
It was quite good.
Yeah. Well, but that's 2 missions more than Destiny 1. So
when it sort of comes back, the bit where you're sort of fighting through the city towards the end, that was cool.
Yeah, that's what I said. The first mission and the last mission, that was where it was like really, oh my god, this is giving me actual single player first person shooter decent story feelings here.
Yeah, and I understand why they don't focus on that stuff, because ultimately you'll play it once, whereas all the the strikes you'll play 200 times or whatever. But, so I get it, but it is a shame they don't do more of that stuff. But yeah, so it's a weird feeling because I've come in. So we're coming to the end of a season now, and the new season's next week, I think. Apparently, the current season is a bad one for reasons I've not really gone into, but I know, like a lot of the sort of regulars are like, yeah, we haven't really bothered with it that much this season. It's not been that great. But again, there's been a bit more story and stuff, which is quite cool. But I'm sort of diving in like, oh, I know nothing again. Because they just keep subtly changing the structure of things. So I've had to go through that process again of being like, right, so how do I do all the things I used to do? Like, what's the best? Like, what should I be aiming for? But you get there eventually, and it's fine. It's been really good. It's been really enjoyable. So Cami is now enjoying it. But this has revealed how bad the onboarding process is if you're a new player. Because, obviously there's the New Light edition, which basically you can play Destiny 2 for free to a point. And rather than, like most MMOs, when, if you're a new player and you start World of Warcraft today, you get basically the same start that you would have got 10 years ago. It's like, you're still expected to do everything from, level 1 to whatever the maximum is now. And you're expected to play through everything. Whereas Destiny 2 is like, just get to the new stuff, it's better. Like, which I get, because obviously, like, they want, so for, in our situation, they want Cammy to be able to start playing and play with me, and for that not to be a problem for either of us. So I understand it. But it's fascinating to me that, like, he'll never see that first mission with the cool story stuff. The fact that entire campaign, he'll probably never see it. He'll never see the campaigns for the next 2 expansions, or the next 3-4 expansions, because there's just, gameplay wise, there's no reason to do it unless you really wanted to, like, find out the story and stuff. But equally, he's completely baffled about absolutely everything that's going on. And, like, we were doing one of the strikes where Cade 6 is one of the people, like, guiding you through it. And I had to be like, right, so he's dead now and has been for a year. But this is from a bit of the story where he wasn't. And he's like, what? It's just impossible to explain. Like, it is such a mess. And apparently they're working on it. Like, it's cool that, like, if you start it as a New Light player, you get basically a retooled version of the first mission from Destiny 1. Where you first wake up in Russia. Yeah. And then it's sort of basically, and that's it. You wake up, you find a spaceship, and you go to the tower, and you're in Destiny 2, and that's it. You just sort of join at the current day. Which is like an interesting workaround, but it just sort of throws... So then you're just thrown in, like, missing shitloads of context. So that's not great. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really excited about the new season, because I'll know what's going on.
So there isn't a way for Cammy or new people just to go mission 1 all the way to the end without it being ridiculously complicated?
You can't. So basically, what you would do is, so you do that first mission where you wake up in Russia, and then you go to the tower, like the new tower in Destiny 2, and then there's like a character in the tower, the one who sells like the bikes and ships and stuff. I don't know why it's her, but you go to her and you can basically go, right, please activate like the original story arc or whatever, and then you can play through it. But as I say, there's no reason for him to do that unless he really wants to see the story. And like I'm not really interested in playing through it with him because there's no reason for me to do so. I mean, it would be enjoyable enough, I guess, but I would feel like there'd be like, way more efficient things I could be doing with my Destiny 2 time.
Allow me to introduce you to a little thing called Grimoire cards. Just have a little read of that, and then we'll crack on to doing so we want to. Sean, quick question. Do they ever release a Destiny 3? If so, what year? Go.
Well, we might find out next week. Because there's
they're doing an event.
Yeah, they've been teasing. Was it? No, it might be this week. There's going to be a stream basically talking about the future of Destiny, and everyone's basically no one knows if it's another expansion or if it could be Destiny 3. The one theory is that if it is a new expansion, apparently Destiny is now reaching like the absolute maximum limit you can have on a PlayStation 4 game. Due to like weird issues with the infrastructure or whatever. So the theory is if it's an expansion, they're going to come up with an excuse to like blow up one of the existing planets because the game is just too big now. So
when you say limit, you mean like the actual size of the game?
Yeah, apparently it's coming up to the absolute limit that a PlayStation 4 game can be due to like operating system issues or whatever.
They need that. They need Destiny.
They do,
in my opinion. New Destiny 3 on the new consoles.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Because
they've already said.
Sorry, go on.
They said even last week that Destiny will be there day one for the new consoles.
Yeah, I know. They're Destiny. Well, we know that for Destiny 2, definitely for. But I think they need to start thinking about a new one.
Yeah, because it's
really
like obviously the complexity is what people love about it, and that was the first year of Destiny 2. Like, I know certainly Dave and I loved it. But that's because we were never really getting into that proper high level stuff, and like a lot of the the hardcore player base were like, "What the fuck is this? There's nothing to do," and they've really addressed that. Like, there's so much shit to do now; it's ridiculous. But it's just so many layers of bullshit on top of each other that for a new player, it's completely bewildering. So yeah, a fresh start, I think, would be a good move at this point.
Bring back some players. I know that if they bring out an expansion, probably not going to play it. If they do a fresh game, I'm going to be all over it. So I think it's time, isn't it?
And especially because now they're spanning, so obviously they're still making it for like the original PS4 and the Xbox One, and some of the more recent content they've put out apparently just runs like shit on the older consoles now. So they're obviously
you got to remember that this game come out under a different publisher completely.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of the original game is holding back on stuff that they want to do with it.
Maybe, yeah.
There's got to be some element of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's already been interesting seeing the changes they've made and stuff like this change was made almost immediately after they split with Activision, but like the microtransactions that they added for the cosmetic stuff. So that's a lot more fair now. It's a lot more clear what you're actually getting. Because it used to just be like you would spend... It was just loot boxes. You would spend silver, which was, to buy with real money, and you just get a loot box with random shit in it, whereas now it's like you would get like this like cosmetic armor set or whatever. And like if you've already earned bits of it through gameplay, it reduces the cost accordingly, like, pro rata, depending on bits you've already got. Stuff like that. It's all a lot more open and fair now. But this sort of season structure they've been doing, it's like, so because they released Shadowkeep last year, and then within that there's been multiple seasons, and they've mostly been pretty good. But apparently this current one's shit. I know there was one like community challenge or something that I think basically everyone figured out they'd have to play the game full time for like 4 months or something to,
Yeah,
in order to do
I
it.
remember that,
I forget the actual numbers, but yeah, basically everyone turned around and was like, "This is bullshit." And to be fair, Bungie did change it. So yeah, they're still like, it's weird. They're so far in, but they're still kind of experimenting with stuff and still like occasionally completely fucking it. But
yeah, but I it's time.
Yeah.
It's time. I'm
Is it
totally
time,
ready
though?
for them to announce a new Destiny.
Absolutely.
I mean, but it feels like they released Destiny 2. They've spent a couple of years fixing it and essentially bringing it back to a lot of the stuff that the original Destiny did so well.
Yeah.
Now they've had are they still fixing things? Have they had like 6 months or a year of now they're happy and they're in like a cadence of releasing content?
Well, it's more like with it's with the stuff that they add that they then find problems. It's like the stuff that's already there is great, but it's like so like this new season came out and everyone was just like nah, but they do listen and they do change things. So
it's interesting.
Matt, if they release another expansion, you buying it?
No. And I think I've got.
If they release Destiny 3, are you buying it?
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, I think that is just I think they'd be mad not to be at least well. And I think it's not they've been building this game up. Why would they scrap that to start again? I think everything they're doing will obviously be usable on a new version of Destiny.
We said that though for the second one, didn't we? Like we thought, okay, Destiny 2, but then they made so many changes. They spent years trying to fix it, and like
but we don't know how much of that was Bungie and how much of that was coming from the publisher. What they wanted them to focus on, and also. When you look at it, at the face of it, everyone loved Destiny 1 by the end of it, after taking King. But the main focus was they wanted a story to care about, and they really did focus on that for Destiny 2, but they got some of the other stuff wrong. Yeah. I don't know where they'd go with the next one. I don't know how they'd adapt it. I've not played it in years, so I've got no context of where the game is at now. But all I know is that I'm not prepared to jump back in, but I am prepared for a clean start. 100%. I'm bang up for that. And I think you'll find a lot of people are in that same boat.
Yeah, and like it'd be
they're too deep in that Destiny 2 hole now to drag everyone back.
Yeah, because like it would be easy enough for me to say, but when the new expansion comes out, you can just buy that, and it won't really matter what you've missed because it'll bring your character up to speed. But you'll know that you're missing loads of context about stuff that's happened. Like inevitably there's just going to be so many references to things that you've not heard of or you've not seen or whatever. You'd just be like, well, hang on, what? I mean, it's not the clearest narrative anyway. Never mind having missed 2 years worth of content or whatever. So yeah, that would irritate, I think. Whereas,
I went back into it like not so long ago. Did, yeah. Well, it is quite a long time ago now, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year now, and I really enjoyed catching up with everything and had a great time with it. But then as new stuff came out, like the Shadowkeep stuff and everything, I log in, I just think it feels utterly confusing now. Like there's just so much, I'm not sure where to begin, is the thing. It's like, what I should tackle, what I shouldn't bother with. My level's not high enough. I just think, I can't be bothered.
You need to be in the moment with it, don't you? You need to be following it.
And like I say,
to create a game that both satisfies the hardcore and is fine for newbies to start and not be overwhelmed is tricky. I mean, games like World of Warcraft must have got that nailed. I presume games that have gone for so long where people have been playing for many years, but they've got a decent onboarding.
I guess so. It's been a while since I've tried to play anything like that, really. I mean, obviously, I tried again with Warframe last year before.
Your favourite game, yeah.
But again, that's interesting because you're doing the. You start the game and you're like, why, this all looks quite bad and it's quite boring. And all the people who've been playing it for years are like, oh yeah, it's because you're playing stuff that was made 8 years ago and you still got to go through it. So that's when you start thinking, well, maybe Destiny's got it right. But yeah, don't know. I mean, neither approach is perfect, clearly. But yeah, new expansion. And yeah, I think it's the 7th. There's going to be a big reveal about what's coming next. So, interesting indeed. Right. Last one, very quick. So I started streaming the Saboteur. I'm really enjoying it. It's obviously aged in a lot of ways. It's pretty sexist. I mean,
that was the feeling that I got when I played it only a few years after release.
And it's even more glaring now. It's not not even the like the exotic dances and stuff. It's just the constant little jibes from the characters and stuff. It's the sheer relentlessness of the casual sexism rather than the look, there's a lady in fishnets or whatever. Like it's it's weird. But yeah, it's fundamentally still pretty fucking enjoyable. I mean, obviously we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll the joke will run thin after week 2 or 3. But I had a really good time playing it. And that is it.
Cool. And when's your next stream?
Well, Tuesday nights I'm doing them. So by the time you hear this, you'll have missed it.
Oh, for fuck! Sorry, everyone.
I mean, how are you going to survive? It.
I know.
You're not. It's the thing.
Absolutely shocking.
So,
right. Okay. Right. Let's get on to emails.
Cool. Where are we? Yeah. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. Maria Mendieta says, "Dear members of the TCGS subsidiary, as always, discussions on the show are really good, but when the conversation around side missions was about to take off, the chat seemed to prematurely move on from Matt's perceptive comments. In terms of game design, what is the purpose of side quests? Are they just story filler, like we find in the GTA series, or can they also be long-form puzzles on the level of The Witcher 3's adventure game-like escapades? Keep up the incredible work. Sincerely, Maria." That's a good question, because...
Well, it's a way of managing different types of players, right?
Yeah, because...
There's people that want to blast through to the end, and there's people that want to experience everything. They're enjoying the world on a different level, and they want to spend more time in it. It gives them something to do.
And I think there's opportunity there for developers to sort of try things that are a bit different as well. Like you might make a game that isn't particularly funny, but one funny side quest is fine. Like it doesn't always have to be like totally thematically consistent.
But that's the problem, though. That's the problem with side missions, is that theoretically they're there for the people that want to experience more of the story, the world, the characters involved, right? But at the same time, when it comes to development, they're a lower priority than the main quest. So that's, I assume, why you get so many half-baked side missions in a lot of games, because there's not as much there's not as much money being chucked at them.
Yeah, because it's the same as most games tend to front load the most interesting stuff because they know realistically most people play about 10 hours and then wander off. Like it doesn't make any sense.
You say right. Oh, sorry, you've just reminded me of something. Golf with your friends, that has a very rare accolade of having having an achievement that last time I looked was achieved by 100% of people that have played it, and that achievement was for knocking the ball out of bounds. 100%.
Wow.
It's cracking up. Sorry. Yeah, back to the side missions.
I think I was done. Has anyone else got to say?
Sean? Sorry, James.
Yeah, I mean, ideally they should be more like Witcher 3 rather than Assassin's Creed. Like original Assassin's Creed.
Hold on, you've not played Assassin's Creed. Oh,
I have.
Yes, you have. Yeah, sorry. You've not played any of the recent ones, though, right?
No. That's why I said
I've
the
heard
original,
they're quite good.
like the first ones, that were like all the collecting and stuff. They should be more like something where you can just expand the story and offer something extra that you maybe don't get out of the main quest.
I think Mass Effect 2 had some of the best side missions that I'd ever experienced in a game.
Shit. Some of that was better than the campaign.
Yeah, really, really good stuff.
But again, that was cool because, I mean, they were all good, but again, it's if there's certain characters you really care about, you go out your way to do their loyalty missions. Maybe there's some you're not so bothered about, doesn't matter.
Also, Red Dead Redemption 2 did amazing things with side missions.
Yeah.
Not only did they... Well, I mean, they had the little events or whatever, but they weren't the side missions. The side missions had such a dramatic effect on other side missions and even bits in main plots and stuff. They were so intertwined with the main plot that it was, you're really missing out if you didn't follow some of those. Like, as much as I smashed the side missions in that game, I still missed a few of the length of the quests that would have changed a lot of how I looked at the story and the characters around me, and I was gutted that I missed them. But yeah, no, that did
there's a couple more chapters you couldn't do after we got to like chapter 4 or 5, which is really annoying.
Oh yeah,
well they couldn't. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of I mean, obviously I'm not spoiling it, but the nun mission side quest I didn't complete and was told about it afterwards and was gutted that I didn't see it through.
Absolutely.
And stuff for the cult as well was great.
And that's another risk, isn't it? Like, yeah, again, it's not only is the relative lack of resource going into side missions, but there's also that knowledge that you're making something that, like, you don't want to put something too good in a side mission because people might not see it.
Yeah. But that's why there's a lack of money and horsepower going into these things because of that reason. It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, it's strange, isn't it? It's you see certain games, they seem to flourish with side missions, but they're very rare. But yeah, the ones that we've mentioned are definitely part of what makes those games so good.
Yeah, I mean, like, as much as I love Final Fantasy VII Remake, those side missions were just terrible. I did them just to get more, to get spells and upgrade stuff, but they were just throwaway filler, aren't they? It's just silly, really.
I've still not gone back to that.
Oh, you really should
still
do.
Not. How much was there? 18 chapters?
Yeah.
So I'm on like chapter 15.
Oh,
or
yeah,
16.
come on. The last few are great. It really ramps up as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I need to
you're so close to the end.
Think about it.
I'll finish it before the end of the year, but oh my God. I think, do you know what happened with that game, Matt? Is I realised I didn't give a fuck about the characters just as it started to put in scenes where it was hoping that I cared about the characters.
Right.
Do you know when you're climbing, you're working your way up?
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. There's some very pivotal characters. So shocking. Absolutely no feeling or connection there whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, again, having not played the original, I kind of with you. I think they expected me as a newcomer to have more feeling than I did. But I still enjoyed it. But yeah, you close to the end. You should push on for sure.
Okay.
Sean, you're not going to go back, are you?
I really want to. I do.
That's enough.
Do you know what the worst? The real problem is it's like the only PS4 game I've still got on my plate. So it's that weird barrier of being like, it's just not the console I'm going to at the moment. Well, that and Yakuza Dave, obviously.
Yeah, well, come on. I've joked about it for a year, Sean. You can't just drop that.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, come on, Sean. At least try and get that done for like Game of the Year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. I should.
There's just do a little bit every day or a little bit every week, and you'll get through.
No, you won't. What chapter did you get to?
I don't know, like 3.
1.
Oh my God, there's no way he's going back to it. There's no way.
James, are you going to try and get that done? Or what?
You're sorry?
James, are you going to try and play it this year?
I don't know, maybe.
I think you'd like it, man. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't think you would. I can't wait to talk to you about it, James.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's it for emails.
Of course, get on to tweet.
Cool.
It's at TCGSco on Twitter. Future Exercise tweeted in at Future Exercise on Twitter. With next gen looming on the horizon, it sounds like you made your system decisions. Matt and Dave Xbox, James PS5, and Sean unknown. What would it take you to switch? Price, game service, etc., or put you off like Microsoft did for the Xbox One TV reveal? I mean, the honest answer is...
I was about to say, there's no way I've made my decision yet. We barely know anything. However, I mean, it does rest on... Actually, it does rest on my mates and what they get.
Yeah, you're definitely going Xbox, definitely, because it's all your friends will be on that, won't they?
If the Xbox is an awful showing and all my mates agree that it looks way worse than the PlayStation, then I'll be getting a PlayStation.
Mate, they all bought Xbox Ones.
I know, that's the problem. That is the problem.
And PS4's brilliant. So, there's nothing... I can't see them ever switching to PlayStation.
You see...
No, I agree, but
so obviously I'm quite a bit more Team Microsoft now, just because of Game Pass being good on PC and stuff. But if you want me to buy a PS5, just get From Software to make a big robot game again. That's it. That is all it would fucking take.
That's all you have to do.
I'm easy, mate.
Actually, thinking about that, Matt, I know what you're saying about that all my mates are going to get Xbox, right? But really, I could just get a PS5 then. and play on the Xbox with them on my
Yeah, because you've already
Xbox
got
One
One X. You're still going to be safe for a while, aren't you?
Yeah, you are actually. Yeah, good point.
So I don't know. It's weird. I mean, you'd be mad to make a decision now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen nothing about prices, games, launch date, nothing. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going to get both because, well, we all will, basically. It's just what order, potentially.
I don't know this gen. I don't know.
Of course you will, Dave. Of course you will.
See, I'm leaning towards PS5, as the guy said, but then it depends. The thing is now, because I know that Xbox games are probably going to work for quite a long time anyway, I probably won't change, buy a new machine for that.
What?
But then
Hang on,
also,
James.
whether I get a
James, your Xbox doesn't really work. Out of anyone, you should be the one buying a new Xbox.
Whether I buy a PS5 or not really depends on stuff like price and whether there is any, whether they do have any sort of form of backwards compatibility or whatever. That does bother me quite a lot. If they don't,
okay.
Then
Well,
probably I won't
James.
bother.
Okay, price £500. Yes or no?
No. Too much.
Okay. Well, that's case closed, I guess.
James, am I hearing you right? You're saying that you'll keep your Xbox One, which fails to load Streets of Rage 4, so that you can play Xbox One Series, Xbox Series X games. Is that what you?
I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you one thing though. Because when we went through that whole story about Sega and Microsoft and all that kind of thing, if it ever did end up that Sega went exclusively to Xbox, I probably would then, because then I'm thinking all the Yakuza games and all that kind of thing will be on it, and I'd be up for
Persona.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Just get an X. Just get an X, James.
It's too expensive, isn't it?
I'm only getting
too expensive.
James, like today.
How many Switches do you own?
Yeah,
exactly.
How many
I
Switches
don't use them though,
you
do
own?
I? They're for my family.
Fucking hell! All right,
James. Today you can get a Series X on. There's like a 1 day eBay offer. We get 20% off. You can get a Series X for One X. My apologies. One X for £260.
That's all right.
Still a bit too much.
fucking unbelievable. Go on.
Okay.
Spent a grand on Animal Crossing, 260 quid for one of the best consoles.
Which all of my family have enjoyed, and not just myself. So it's like it's been worth it.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I mean, the honest answer is I'll get both because there will be games on both. I'll just keep saving, and that's what I'm gonna do.
It's which one you get first, though, isn't it?
Well, that depends on which one's released first. That's it, really. PS5's out a week.
You're gonna get both day one.
Yes, David. I've been
fucking
saving for it.
madman,
No, I'm not
man.
mad, man. I've been saving. So, it's my hobby. I love it.
Mug.
Well, why am I a mug? Getting both. No,
All right,
go on.
well, if you got the money, fine. If you got the money, fine. I'm happy for you, Matt. All right.
It's so cheap living up north, Dave. It's like $5 a month for a mortgage.
you're getting the rounds in at the next meet. All right.
No, I will spend £1,000 on consoles. I can't afford anything else. Andy Godwin at Big Cop Man on Twitter. Is Bobble Bobble the greatest video game music of all time? Asking for a Discord thread.
It's a banger, but no.
Obviously not though. No.
It's not. That's the one that goes. Is that the one that goes? Right, it doesn't work if we both do it.
Yes, it does.
Sean.
We're going to get a copyright claim now on our YouTube video.
Yeah, no, it's a banger.
I mean,
It is
Matt
a
will have to
banger.
sync those up
Not
in the
one of the
edit.
best.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Sorry, Matt.
Definitely. Oh.
He's definitely not going to do that.
Christ.
Is he?
Yeah, what, you both.
Also,
you both
could
get
you
abused.
also tune the
Done.
Sure.
Okay, there's no argument there. James, what would you say is the greatest music? You said definitely not.
What would you say is the greatest music in video gaming, James?
Yeah,
Come
it's off
on.
the top of your head. Come on.
Just
Come
off
on,
the
yeah,
top
yeah,
of my head.
Easy.
It's just. I don't know,
What a
there's loads of games,
question.
isn't there? There's loads
What's
of
the
games that
best
have got
game
music.
of all time, James? Just give us
My
one.
favourite game of all time. My favourite game of all time. Is it Halo Combat Evolved?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, good shout.
Good.
Good shout. Good
You really
shout.
answered
Good
the
shout.
question
Go on.
there. MD Krabuffs, what are some of the challenges you think the next generation will face? Now, I'm assuming he's talking about gaming.
Yeah.
Not like
because
the
otherwise,
obsession,
how long have you
etc.
got? I mean, making games look even nicer without them ruining even more developers' lives in the process.
No, I don't think
I
it's
think
that.
it's
For that
price as well. Like whether people are going to be able to afford to buy this stuff because how expensive it's going to be.
I think the biggest challenge of next gen is going to be shifting software, because these games are having longer and longer lifespans. And people are sitting playing single games for a longer time. That is going to come to a head at some point, right? Am I panicking? I might be panicking too much.
But then those,
like I might be overblowing it.
What? Yeah, I mean, but for those developers, they sell DLC and they'll be fine. But you're saying generally the industry will be affected because some people just play one game a year now.
Yeah. Yes. No, I don't think one game a year. I just think in terms of the spread of how much software is being bought, I think it's going to be very different. And you've also got to look at, people will be looking at these games that last 3 or 4 years and turn a profit every year, and trying to do that a lot more than they will be thinking, hey, let's work on something completely new and different that is going to last probably a couple of months. It's but I don't know.
Yeah, but for people who just buy one game and play it loads, or buy less games because they're happy playing a smaller number of games, the market is constantly expanding. So there are more people buying more games, even if some people focus on just...
Yeah, there are.
So,
yeah. I'm not saying it's definitely going to be an issue. I just... The way we play games at the end of this generation is very different to the way we play games at the end of last gen.
Yeah, massively so.
And I want to see where it goes from there.
For me, it's like it's the size of these things, and bandwidth caps and this, that, and the other. I mean,
that's another one. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I know that if Sony, and I'm not don't know about Microsoft, but definitely Sony have said, you'll be able to just download, say, the multiplayer part of a game or the single player part of a game. But then when you look at like some patches are still 60 or 70 gig. Sean was saying on his very episode, Destiny 2 is getting up to the max of the size of they can even fit on these discs. But when downloads you got 90 gig download to fix the game, I mean, I really hope that is fixed in some way, shape or form.
And also, these games are going to get bigger, and we're only getting 1 terabyte.
That bloody sucks. And then
imagine saying that. Imagine fast forwarding from the Xbox. What was the Xbox original hard drive? Was it 24 gig or something?
Something like that.
Yeah,
the Xbox 360.
The first one.
No, the 360. Was that 24
20
gig?
It was 20 gig.
32? I can't remember, but yeah, I remember it was 32 megabyte for the basic, and then a 20 gig and then they released a 40 gig, and there's us going, so I only given us 1 terabyte. Technology's weird.
Yeah, and the fact that expanding that will cost an absolute bomb. You can't, just like I do with my One X, I can't just buy a really big external drive because that isn't going to be fast enough to power
I just got a feeling that you can. I've just got a feeling that you can.
I mean...
I've just got a feeling that that's what they're going to let happen.
But they've always said that that's not the case. That's why Microsoft have got their proprietary...
No, they've said that you can still use external hard drives to store data.
You have to copy that onto the hard drive to play the game.
So my point is, you get an external hard drive like you've got now, you plug that into your back of your system, you store your games on there, and if they can transfer within a few minutes to your main SSD, then you can just swap out the games you want to play.
Bloody, I think that's a right nightmare.
Does sound like a pain in the arse.
No, it doesn't. It's no different to downloading them. Right, imagine if they said...
backwards. It's like, because then once it's over, it's like, here's a 120 gig update as well.
No, they still update on that external hard drive.
They do.
They still recognise those games are on there. My point is this, right? Imagine a world, right?
I'm imagining.
Where you've got that limited
like John
space.
Lennon, mate.
You can't.
The common world, you mean?
You can't plug in any expandable hard drives at all, right? But to download a game, it takes 2 minutes. That wouldn't be too bad, would it? I mean, it wouldn't be great. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be too bad, would it?
No.
Right? So what if that hard drive is doing exactly that? You store all your games on a 4 terabyte hard drive that you've got, and then when you're ready to play the game, you can remove a game from your SSD, and when I say remove it, it doesn't delete it, it just moves it onto your external hard drive, and then move the game that you want to play onto your SSD.
Oh, bloody hell, sounds shit, doesn't it?
Why does it sound shit? I don't understand why it sounds shit.
Because I want my games instantly. Okay, I want to play it. Bang! Like the whole point is like instant resume.
Right, okay, so-
all the stuff Microsoft said. Okay, switch between multiple games. Blah blah blah. Like no loading. I know there will be loading because people like us will be like copying over from like and like the 4 terabyte I think I've got now. It's not an SSD. It's like a standard sort of spinning drive. So it's not like it's even super quick data transfer speeds to move it.
No,
from
but it's
that.
putting it onto an SSD, isn't it?
But if I I hope
It's not
there's-
going to be crazy.
This is not an interesting discussion.
No, I just think.
Well, make it interesting, James. Add something to it.
I just think you're writing it off without knowing the details yet. I mean, if it is the case where you can't attach a normal hard drive and the hard drives that you plug into it are ridiculously expensive, yeah, that'll be disappointing. I think that'll be very disappointing. But I just think that maybe there's ways around this.
I mean, that's definitely what they've said up to now. Yeah, you can use externals for storage, but to play games, you've got to move them off them to play on the machine. And Microsoft saying, "Hey, it's a proprietary one we've released."
Well,
for
that's
you.
it, isn't it? So you've got that option to get what you want. It's just going to cost a fuck ton. But if this was a viable option, where so you've got all your games on this massive external normal hard drive, it can't run off that hard drive, but you can switch. Well, okay, all right, fine. Yeah, it's all. I think it's interesting, James. But there you go.
I don't. And listeners might think that too, James. They've got anything to add to it?
I don't. You don't find anything interesting, James, unless it's
I don't
big
find
breasts.
this interesting. I mean, who cares? It's just hard drive storage space, isn't it? Just download it again. What's the big deal?
Yeah, because it takes ages, James. Matt has a legitimate problem with doing that, and I get it.
Get organised. Okay, tell me how to get organised, James. Go on.
You prepare for what you're going to play, whenever. I mean, I don't download everything. I don't even want to talk about this.
James, how many times have you complained to us? We're like, oh bloody hell, tell me Xbox on another update. Get organised, James. Get organised.
Next tweet.
I do. I switch it on. Do you know what I do, Matt? Every Friday, I play with my friends on Xbox One. I switch that console on in the morning to make sure that
James,
there's actually
why are we
that
still
it's downloaded
talking
all the
about
updates.
this?
Get organised.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's going to be multi-gig updates for everything.
Well, no. With your Xbox, you've got to actually try and boot the game, so it'll be ready by that evening.
That's true.
Why are you talking about this, James?
Yeah.
Why do you keep banging on about
James,
this? We're trying to move on.
The conversation was ending, and you added an extra element to it, which was boring as hell.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Did you challenge
Jesus,
me?
James.
Yeah, and then you said, get organised, and then you told us about a story about how you turned your machine on the day before and still complaining about the update.
Yeah, so you asked me how I get organised, and then I explained.
But that's not organised because you're still complaining about the update.
You challenged me.
And I reacted with a bad story.
Go on, right, next tweet.
We're going to end with Ricky Cartwright. What game of luxury has made the most difference to your life? Custom pad, chair, expensive headphones, etc.
Headphones.
The headphones that Sean sent me. They'd be nice.
Did he thank you for them?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh,
the
he still
stream,
hasn't
mate.
thanked me for that massive bath that I sent him.
Yeah, I had to
Rude.
buy one. That's nice. Yeah, I mean, I would say headphones definitely. Basically, the surround sound headphones I bought. When was that, Dave? EGX 2008.
Oh god, yeah, they were awful. I never loved them.
Oh no, I loved them. I still got them. Actually, I should definitely replace them. They're the Air.
I think maybe
Turtle Beach Air Force
I
surround
got.
sound.
You know the ones that I've got. I got the Elite Pro 2.
Yeah.
They were down to 150 this weekend gone. I think they are very, very worth it.
Yeah, I really need some
They're
new
really
ones.
good.
These are falling apart. I mean, these are like 10 or 12 years old now. But I still, But that was such a massive difference when we played Battlefield 3. Like, wow, I can hear so much stuff. It's brilliant. And I never would have bothered but until that EGX demo where the headphones were incredible. But that's probably the best one, I think. I haven't got like a Pro Pad or anything. Or
I think I must have got dodgy ones then, Matt, because I got the same headset as you and they just kept cutting out. Like every 30 to 40 minutes I had to press that power button again.
Oh right, I mean mine are doing that now because they're on the way out. But when we're smashing Battlefield 3, it's just so good. Anyway, that for me definitely headphones.
Game changer.
I have an AV amp and some nice speakers because I hate wearing headphones for too long.
How do you do that with a kid in the house though?
It's all wall mounted, mate. So you can't get anywhere near it.
How do you do that with a kid in the house though?
What do you mean? You can't get anywhere near it?
No,
I'm just talking about like
noise.
the kid being asleep upstairs.
Oh, see, I know you don't give a fuck. Once he's asleep, that's basically it until 3 a.m. and then he gets up again. But
And then when you're doing voice comms, like online, what are you using?
Oh yeah, so I have to use headphones for that. But yeah, as soon as if I'm not playing online, then fuck the headphones. Yeah.
So the speakers go off, and then you put like big headphones on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Fine.
Plus, like, I need it for the amount of fucking HDMI cables as well. Like, because my TV's got 3 inputs, and I need more than that.
And remember, the HDMI in a town at night is fucking tremendous. Right, next tweet.
That's it for tweets.
Cool. Well, do the socials then, Matt. Let's get out of it.
Obviously there's no PlayStation 5 show this Thursday. We might have talked about and mentioned briefly. We're going to talk over. That's still happening when that show comes back. So not this Thursday, but this Friday, James is back playing Dreams. That's Friday night at 9. You still enjoying that, James? I didn't get to see Friday's show.
I am. It's great. It still is
Haven't you spoken about that and what you've been playing yet?
No, I've not, because I don't know. Don't know why I haven't.
No, you've not. I'm asking you why you haven't.
I don't know, Dave. I can't be bothered.
Okay.
Fucking hell. All right. Well, maybe, Matt. Maybe you can't be bothered to give him his cut of the Patreon this week.
Maybe.
Just have a little idea for you. All right?
Maybe I can't. That's Friday.
You're the main one now. You've got to start putting the boot down.
Well, I will do. Starting now. James, you're fired. If you can be bothered to watch James, he's streaming Friday night. I'm streaming Resident Evil Sunday night at 8, and then Sean is streaming the Saboteur Tuesday nights at 9.
Yes,
Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, all the usual stuff. The bigger news actually is that we've updated our store on tcgs.co, and there's a link at the top and maybe the foot as well to our store. And we've got new TCGS merch with the new logo on. I think it looks fantastic. There's actually a sale on from today if you're listening to us on Wednesday.
We'll be the judge of that. You can't just okay.
No,
you made them
exactly, and
I think they look absolutely wonderful.
Exactly, I'm going to be spending a lot of money in that store. So the sale runs from today if you're listening to us on Wednesday until I think Saturday. So it's like 15% off, I think. Anyway, go to now to the weekend, save 15%. There's some good stuff on there. And that's at tcgs.co, and there's a link at the top. And we're on Patreon, patreon.com/tcgs. I think that's it.
Excellent. Well, thanks for living it, and we mean it when we say this. We hope you're doing all right. Wherever you're listening to this, whatever's going on in your life, we hope you're okay. Take it easy. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.